Hello, everyone. What's going on? My name is Timpedia. Welcome back to the TNT Podcast, episode 192.
You actually
Ooh,
looked it up this time?
we're
You
getting
legitimately
close.
did?
I actually didn't look it up per se. I had YouTube open so that as soon as we're done, I can do the upload. And I just was like, ooh, as I was starting to hit record, I'm like, oh my God, as I'm talking, I can look, I can see what it was. I totally have it.
That's really funny.
Sorry we've been gone for a minute, scheduling stuff. I was traveling for work a little bit. You know, stuff happens these days.
Adult life.
As the kids
happens.
say, it is what it is.
What it is.
What it is. But this podcast is what it is, and who is here on my right?
That's Friedman, also known as Andrew, but mostly known as Friedman.
And on my left.
It's only Tyler, just Tyler. Yeah, that's it. I got nothing else, man. This is it. I'm looking at all my.
We don't
bullshit
got
that
much
I
else.
looked
We don't got a ton of news per se. We got some juicy stuff, but
yeah, but you
not a
bet
ton.
your ass we're gonna be here for 2 fucking hours.
Wow, sound
No. We're gonna be done this very quick,
about it.
and then we're gonna talk about what we watched and played for 2 hours. You got to be correct about
right.
this.
You know
Yeah.
what? That's true. That's
Yeah,
true. He makes a good point.
It's true.
That's all we do.
Well, what's the first piece of news we want to talk about?
What is this? I don't actually know what this is.
Oh,
what? Oh, Dragon Age Veilguard.
yeah.
Oh, that's what
And
this is.
how
Okay.
everybody has very divisive or derisive. Oh my God, Michelle literally used that.
I mean,
word on me.
is the answer not both?
That. Well, no, because no, because people I think do legitimately feel mixed about it, but it does err on the side of actually no, maybe not. Maybe it is just a flop.
No, I don't think it's a flop. I've seen everything from this is the savior of Dragon Age to a lot of people going, was Dragon Age ever a good series?
Out of the loop
which,
I was.
Which
I'm-
honestly isn't the worst take. As someone who loves Origins, saying is Dragon Age even a good series is not a terrible take to have.
Damn, brother. That's fucked.
I mean, so the drama here is really just that, like, so Dragon Age Veilguard gets announced and it's coming out and everyone's like, oh my God, it's the return of BioWare. And that's all the narrative. And then as soon as the game comes out, people start going, oh, but a lot of this writing isn't very deep. And a lot of the edges are kind of shaved off. No one's ever really mean. There's not really any grittiness. Oh, there's a lot of... And then you have the other people who are the terrible people who are like, oh, the representation, all this being shoved down our throats. Very stupid. End of the day, this game seems to be all right. Seems to be fine.
Also, as the kids say, mid.
Yeah, the drama was more like I had this written down just because it was funny to see. This is definitely one of those games that a lot of people were riding really high on before release, and then you just watch as the public perception shifts to this really isn't very good, or you have the screaming idiots. But either way, perception has definitely shifted on this game, and a lot of people are like, yeah, BioWare's pretty dead, and it's like, well, where have you been? BioWare doesn't really exist. I mean, all the best people from BioWare made Baldur's Gate 3, the best game that I might never play.
Bullish.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying it's like the best game that I might never play.
Maybe you stop replaying KOTOR 2 all the motherfucking time. Maybe.
Nah, that's more fun. That game's...
What the fuck, man? Man, you're tripping.
No, but honestly, though, it was kind of funny to hear people be like, oh, man, Dragon Age, I'm so excited for this. And everyone would be like, yo, Dragon Age is kind of whatever. Like, Origins is a game that hasn't aged amazingly well in that, like, technically getting Origins to run is a fucking nightmare these days.
Oh, God.
Because EA is such a piece of shit. But this was the age of, like, needing CD keys to connect to a server to get DLC and, like, resolution being tied to the size of your UI, so you have to download mods to fix the UI. And, like, on console, the DLC is just gone because the servers don't exist. But on PC, like, the GOG version kind of works, and there's still problems with it, so, like, playing that game is rough. And it definitely has a few weird things. 2 just was an action game with a bad story. Inquisition, I never played. Again, seemed like a fine action game, and then Veilguard just
Played
seems
it
to be all over the
like
place.
100 fucking times.
Huh?
Michelle played Inquisition a lot.
Really? I guess she liked it
Yeah.
a lot.
She did like it a lot. She likes the BioWare games she likes is Mass Effect Trilogy, Dragonware Inquisition, and then also SWTOR.
That's fine.
Pretty solid.
Inquisition, I would say, is regarded as the best or second best Dragon Age game, depending on who you talk to.
Huh.
My pick is Origins, but I've never played Inquisition.
Man, I don't give a fuck about any of those. Hit me with Mass Effect Trilogy every day.
Sure, that's fine. I mean, that's a thing. Tyler, you make fun of me for replaying games. I still really want to play the Legendary Edition finally.
You should. I don't know why you haven't yet, honestly.
Oh my god, here we go.
I do
What?
not play through them.
It's
I've
true,
only
dude.
beaten 2.
Like, legitimately, because I told you, I never beat the first one, right? Like, because I was like, this game is ass. And then I played 2 and 3. I'm like, okay, these games are top-notch games. The Legendary Edition fixed what I hated about 1, and then the mods fixed it so I didn't want to blow my brains out playing the Mako levels.
Damn.
Like, actually, dude, I told my friend, because he started playing it recently, I was like, you need to download this Mako mod, like, stat.
What does it
And
do?
it just makes the thing go fast.
Oh.
That's all it does.
Turbo mode.
Dude, because you'd like, oh my god, I remember playing it when Mass Effect 1, I rented it at Blockbuster.
Oh yeah.
And man, when I got to those Mako sections, I'm just like, okay, I'm just driving around in my Jeep. This is taking forever. I can't like it's just like these sections just suck. And having the improved engine, I just Dukes of Hazzard full send. Like, I'm on one end of the moon, I'm already at the other end in like 2 seconds flat. And I'm like, thank God. The less time I could spend doing this Mako garbage, like, the better off I'll be. And the combat was terrible in the original, Tim. You can't say it wasn't.
Oh yeah, it was not.
Yeah, they retuned it to make it feel more like the other 2 Mass Effect games. Like, it wasn't as stiff. It actually felt like an action shooter. Man, I just want another Mass Effect game that's not that's an actual banger. I didn't play Andromeda.
Wise decision.
Man, I kind of want to though. I don't want to. Like, I already did like a whole. I did the playthrough of like, oh, play as what was the good one? Vanguard or Renegade? What's the other one? Oh, Paragon, duh. Yeah, like I did a whole Paragon run, I did a Renegade run, like I'm like, I had nothing else. But I'll probably play Dragon.
Of the trilogy, you mean?
Yeah, I played through the whole trilogy. Well, technically I
Multiple
played through the trilogy twice, yeah.
Dang.
Technically no, because I didn't finish Mass Effect 1. Technically. But whatever. I count it as a yeah, because when I played the Legendary Edition, I played through with a Renegade run. That was hilarious. But yeah, I don't know. I probably won't play Veilguard. I'm probably gonna play Dragon Age Origins at some point.
Yes. As much as I bitched about it, like technically getting it to run, if you can get it to work, Tyler, on PC, I still love that game.
Yeah, I do want to give it a try. It's on my list of fucking RPGs.
Tyler, remember when you were playing Jade Empire the other day and the cannon shot on the beach and you just freaked out?
Yo, dude, that was wild. I wasn't expecting that.
Dragon Age Origins is the same way, where it's definitely more like M-rated than like I was saying how Veilguard like a lot of people complain about how it's like kind of like gentle, like nothing really pushes you that hard. There's like straight up like blood sprays and shit like that and crazy deaths and shit in Origins, so
like ones that just kind of happen regardless of your decisions, or like ones that you intentionally work towards?
Intentionally do, but like there's like a part within a few hours where you watch a guy like have a panic and try to run away, and like a guy's like, well, you're not allowed to leave, so I'm just gonna have to murder you for trying to escape. And you just see him just like cold hard faced like stab the guy in the chest, and he spits blood and dies.
Yeah. I do find it kind of weird that like that that we get a lot of response from Veilguard like that because BioWare does touch on a lot of, like, even in their teen rated games, like some more like.
See, I think they touch on, but I
themes.
think people are looking for a more mature thing in Dragon Age because people
Oh
still,
yeah, in
people
Dragon
still
Age.
think of Dragon Age as the M-rated series.
Well, yeah, because I mean, well, that's what I meant. Like, what I was getting at is that BioWare touches on, like, at least at minimum, even in their teen rated games, like adult themes and like complex like, I don't know. I feel like it's very not them. It sounds like this game just went through another development hell.
Yeah,
Not
for
like
a long
Anthem,
time, yeah.
but like definitely went through the ringer.
Apparently this started in like a different iteration way back in like 2016. Cuz Inquisition is 10 years old, Tyler.
Jesus.
So yeah, shortly after Inquisition, there was someone working on something that would eventually become this. But that was a long, long time ago.
In a galaxy far away.
Speaking of a galaxy far, far, I think I.
Where? What? What'd you do?
I think I accidentally stopped recording for a quarter second. That's fine. I picked it back up. We'll splice
Is it a
back
quarter
together.
second? Is it enough to?
Nope, we're fine. We're still going. We're going again.
Listeners getting a sneak into the very high production value.
I'm gonna edit it back together.
Yeah.
I pressed spacebar to write text, and I accidentally had OBS selected, so it immediately, of course, hit the stop recording button.
I was gonna say, the audience already knows that.
I'll splice them back together. No, I was saying a long, long time ago in a galaxy far away, is where you have to go to play Concord.
I was like, are we supposed to talk about a Star Wars topic somewhere in the middle?
No.
Show notes?
No. So the Concord studio. So after Sony was like, oh, well, Concord's definitely gonna come back. It's gonna be fine, guys. We're definitely gonna keep doing it.
It's definitely not coming back.
Concord is fucking dead.
Concord is dead.
Concord is dead. The studio's dead. They realized, wait a minute, maybe we're just flushing more millions of dollars away. And this is definitely not to say and try to have a message here, but this is definitely one of those cases where it's like, how the fuck is an executive allowed to like be rich after wasting 30, like, what was the final, like anywhere from 200 to 400 million dollars are all the estimates all over the place for how much was wasted on this fucking video game. And it's like, why are they allowed to have a job that isn't at McDonald's? Like,
that isn't at McDonald's. Goddamn.
Like, this is such an insane. Anybody could have seen this coming.
So I will defend.
No.
I will defend the devs on this one. So because a lot of the things that I develop, it's not shit that I want to do. It's not shit that I think anyone wants.
Freeman, I'm not
but
blaming
corporate
the devs.
says we want you to make this thing exactly as we describe it.
Sure.
And they made an arena shooter with shitty monetization, and that's exactly what they made.
No, they made a completely generic-looking arena shooter in the age of arena shooters dying off because Overwatch fucked it all up for everybody. And that's what happened. And they released into a crowded, boring market and wasted millions and millions and millions of dollars.
And the question is, if this game had come out 6 years ago, would it have been a problem?
It would have had to have competed with Overwatch.
It's still living competing with Overwatch. Yeah.
You're competing with the corpse of Overwatch and you lost now. Like, what?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, we don't have it on the notes, but we...
oh, yeah, because they reanimated the corpse of Overwatch.
They reanimated the corpse of Overwatch. Tyler, you know what we're talking about, right?
I have no clue what you're talking
about. All right, we'll sort on. Here's a mini topic.
Mini topic. I don't care. We'll just wrap it in because it's tied to Concord shutting down. So what
are they actually calling the event? It's like Overwatch.
Overwatch Classic, baby.
Classic, yeah.
Tyler, 3-week limited event. Boot up Overwatch 2. Play Overwatch Patch 1.0.
Like characters originally as they were at launch.
Mercy full res.
Got armor packs, turret, full res, Symmetra has her turrets. Wow. The Widow can one-shot any character in the game. Hanzo has his original hitbox back.
Do you know why? Do you know what they said, Tyler? We want people to see just how far we've come.
It's actually
Man,
it's actually making a point because a lot of people realize how absolutely unbalanced Overwatch 1 at launch was.
And they'll also realize how absolutely much this is such a test. This is such a test for running it back. Come
What?
on. Like,
Well, all right,
I feel like
so this is unironic. This is an actual test about whether people want to return to 6v6. There's been a lot of talk about that.
It's just fucking wild. Like, to track the trajectory of Overwatch is one of those things where you're like, you couldn't have made this shit up. The game launches, they talk about PvP and PvE content. They never do PvE. They announce a sequel which is going to be all about PvE. They scrap all PvE and they change it from 6v6 to 5v5. And everyone says tanks are too good, right? Isn't that the problem with 5v5?
They had to buff tanks because there's only one, and now no one likes there's only one tank.
Right. So, like, and now they're like, oh, let's run it back. Let's offer a classic and see what people think. Like, what an insane, like, how stupid do you have to feel to be like, oh shit, maybe the best version of our game conceptually was the first version of the game we put. Like, yes, you could say that there's a lot of, but those are individual abilities.
Yeah.
Like,
everyone's very. I think I saw the biggest thing is that so when they moved to Overwatch 2, they retired a lot of the maps. A lot of like the 2 capture points went away, and they have push where it's basically just here's a capture point, but it moves across the map. So it's basically a payload that goes in either direction. And with this, obviously, you can't play that new mode. Everyone's like, thank the fucking Lord, I can go back to the old maps. Because push as a game concept, people hate it. So, like, the two things, the one tank and push, the two big features of 2, everyone's glad they're gone. So it should be the message.
That's what I mean. Like, how is that not hysterical? How is that not the funniest thing in the fucking world? Like,
I mean, Blizzard is the same company that they did WoW Classic, but now they've added too much shit to WoW Classic that they're releasing WoW Classic, where it's just...
really?
vanilla. Yeah, because they've released too many expansions. Now they're on like the 4th expansion on Classic. To the point where it's like, now you've reached the point in time where people were like, damn, I don't want to play retail WoW anymore. Can I still play vanilla? And now the Classic version has reached that point, so they're releasing Classic 2.
Classic,
which is crazy.
Classic
because
for real this time.
Overwatch hasn't been out as long as fucking WoW, so.
And you'd think that a game that only had one sequel, instead of, I mean, if you think of WoW expansions as sequels, how many have we had? 6, 7? Is it not more?
No, we don't have Luigi on here.
I mean, I'm just gonna say this. I was hanging out with my old coworker who he now has a son who's like 8 months old or so, and we were reminiscing about the fact that when we both started working as interns together, Overwatch launched like a month after.
And now he has a kid.
And now he has a kid, like, because Overwatch is now an 8-year-old game, so it's not like it's that. Good Lord, we've been talking about this since like the beginning of the podcast, haven't we?
Yeah.
All right. Maybe this.
We're also oh.
I hate this. Man, remember when I was playing Persona 5? Those were the days.
Remember when you spent a whole year playing Persona 5?
Those were most of the days.
Those were most of the days. This motherfucker.
Yeah. So, Concord shutting down and Overwatch going back to Classic. It's just what a world. I fed up with this world. Oh, Freeman.
Yeah.
I know you fucking put this news on here.
Yeah, so this one's stupid. So I just need to give everyone some context here. So for anyone who played Kingdom Hearts 3, and you were a little confused about who the fuck are all these people in hoods? Who's this dude in the bonus scene? Why the fuck are these people wearing animal masks in the bonus movie from 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue that's supposedly leading to 3? Well, I'm not glad you asked, because I was confused when I heard about this. So Kingdom Hearts, much like most other video games, has a cash grab mobile game. It started off as a point-and-click desktop adventure called Kingdom Hearts Unchained Chi, where Chi is the X character they use for describing the Keyblade from, I forget which game it was. I think it was Dream Drop Distance. The point is, this game was a browser game, and they're like, how do we monetize it? So they re-released it for mobile called Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key. And then they rebranded again to Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, but the Cross is the key character, so you think it'd be Union Key, but it's not. It's Union Cross.
Stop, bro.
And then they rebrand as Kingdom Hearts Union Cross Dark Road.
Tyler, I don't think we can prove that Freeman has or has not had a stroke right now.
And then when the mobile game shut down, they re-released it as a standalone game, so they could still monetize without monetizing it, called Kingdom Hearts Dark Road. And they said, damn, people really played the same game 4 times.
Freeman,
So
are you reading a dictionary right now or naming off Kingdom Hearts games?
I'm listing. This isn't the list of games. This is the list of titles the first game went by.
Jesus Christ.
So we're now in the modern era. They can't get away with this point-and-click bullshit adventure like Fate Grand Order does. And they say, we need to release a true mobile game Android experience like a Genshin Impact in the Kingdom Hearts universe-esque thing using the same bullshit characters. We're now somehow going to tie into Kingdom Hearts 4. They teased this a while back. It was supposed to release this fall, and they came out with they're delaying the game, and they previously had a release date, and now there's just no release date. So it sounds like this game is in a shit ton of trouble that they won't even commit to a release date. Square Enix is getting slapped again because another one of their cash grab projects is turning out like it's not panning out correctly. And we still have gone an entire year of Tetsuya Nomura saying this year you're going to hear a lot about Kingdom Hearts 4, and we've heard jack fucking shit about Kingdom Hearts 4. I don't know how they're like messing up this franchise.
Do you care though?
Even more after 3.
Do you give a shit?
The mobile game, fuck no. 4, yes. Am I excited to play it? Not so much. Am I excited to see what they're going to do? What other Disney properties are going to tie in? Are they going to do Star Wars? Are they going to do Marvel? I want to know. I don't necessarily want to play, but the curiosity is killing me. So I'd like to see a new trailer for Kingdom Hearts 4. Just so I can point and laugh at it and talk about it on the podcast.
Well, why don't we just go into the next topic, because that might be where you see it, Freeman. Because
oh shit, yeah, you're right. They might.
We have the nominees for the all-important Game Awards for the year, and they are coming up. I think it said 12/12, like a month from now. December 12th is the day.
When is that? It's a Thursday.
I might be wrong. Whatever. It's coming up in December. Game Awards for the year. As always, there's a lot of hullabaloo in the online space because, you know, gamers don't get the Oscars. They get the Game Awards. As much as everybody memes on Jeff Keighley, no one else is doing this, so he just becomes the meme every year.
What are you talking about? TNT Podcast is our game of the year every year. No one pays attention.
Yeah. The game of the year where only Tyler and you play a couple and I play none of the new games of the year. And Tyler's like the one voter whose vote matters.
My vote, yeah, exactly.
90% of the weight comes from whatever Tyler says came out this year is good.
And then I just talk about whatever Atlas game that ate up 6 months of my life.
And I'm like, hey guys, I played one new game this year called a strategy game that most people don't care about. There's a little bit of controversy going on this year with the Game Awards. Obviously, I'm sure we'll get world premieres. But one of the big things that was kind of going around a few days before was there was a tweet from the Game Awards like a few days before the announcements going, just so you guys know, expansions are eligible for nominations, including Game of the Year. And everyone's like, so that means you want Shadow of the Erd Tree to be nominated for Game of the Year. Right. Lo and behold, the nominations come out, and Shadow of the Erd Tree is nominated for Game of the Year.
Damn.
Wow.
Now, I will say, everything I've heard is that Shadow of the Erd Tree is bigger than most video games. And is very good. I will never play it.
I still disagree, though.
Yes, I would also agree. I would say that this is like taking a WoW expansion and calling it Game of the Year. You are taking a pre-existing game.
I say that in the same breath.
Uh-oh.
I say this in the same breath that Blood and Wine got Game of the Year one year, I think.
I mean
also Phantom Liberty, I think. Didn't Phantom Liberty get Game of the Year last year?
I thought it didn't, and that's why everyone's up in arms that, like, well, they shouldn't be picking and choosing what year they do this.
Wait,
or am I misremembering? Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
Oh.
Cyberpunk DLC.
Well, everyone's
another game you said you'd play but never actually play, you know?
Yep. Well, I did boot it up, and then I was like, wow, this is too much game. I don't feel like playing
this.
this.
You booted it up.
Yeah, I did.
It's too much game. This fucking too much.
I think they should just have a best... Well, they have a best ongoing game, but I think they could just have a best expansion. Man,
yeah, I think
bring hashtag bring back expansions. You know,
it starts getting ambiguous because you have stuff like, how do I put it? Like, was it Spider-Man Miles Morales? it was sort of an expansion, but like it was also like PS5 exclusive, so it wasn't. It was its own
That's a standalone
thing.
game.
But like,
No, Freeman. Here's the easy delineation.
and you purchased it separately.
Yes. Do you not even that? Do you need the original? Like yes,
is it
effectively
a
yes,
standalone
but like,
expansion?
yeah, exactly. Because like, or does it literally only build on core systems? So like, here's an example because I've been playing Civ 4 recently with Alvin and Ed. Civ 4, what we play is Beyond the Sword, which was the third expansion pack for that game. Third or second, I can't remember now. I remember buying the discs in high school with them, and I can't fucking remember which one it was. We bought Beyond the Sword. Technically, if you go on Steam now, you do not need to install Civ 4 Beyond. You don't need to install Civ 4 to play Beyond the Sword. So it is a separate launcher, but it literally only takes the base game, wraps it up in a new package, and then adds content to it. So I would say that is an expansion because it is a repackage plus additional. Miles Morales changes core aspects of the game to be about Miles and have Miles's gameplay, and is not containing the original Spider-Man. Most of the gameplay is the same, like a lot of the swinging and everything. But a lot of the powers and moment to moment is different enough that I would call it a sequel. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
to me,
yeah, but like it's also not dependent on the original game either.
no, exactly. So I would
Yeah,
say,
like
and then I would say something like WoW, which it seems like, or Fortnite, are ongoing games that are still just actively rolling content.
I mean, I was going to be pedantic about the WoW expansions because it's
yeah,
kind of vaguely fitting this weird thing where like each of the expansions are standalone. You can jump in at any point, and yeah, it builds off the same engine. But like if I skip a WoW expansion, I can totally do that, and I can come to the next one, just buy it. Now
but it's
I'm
still in
playing
there.
the same gameplay loop thing.
But
it's. I'm
still
not saying you're wrong. I'm saying that it's a little vague.
No, that's fair. But I would actually no. I shouldn't have said it was ongoing. That's fair on my part. I shouldn't have said that. It would be something more like Warzone or anything where they call it a season, really, where like the only content is seasons or like content drops. Like
like the release is not enough to even consider being called its own separate game. You might want to call its own game.
You wouldn't call Attack on Titan in Fortnite an expansion of Fortnite. It was just a little bit of, it was just a content drop.
Yeah, but it was Game of the Year.
Oh, fuck it. But no, Shadow of the Erd Tree, I would say, even though it is incredible and probably better than most games that came out this year, it is not a new game. It is an expansion to an existing game. It is Elden Ring, refined and really good, but it's still in Elden Ring.
Yeah.
And I also think there's something to be said for having more categories is not a bad thing. Like, there's a point where you have too many categories, but if we have to have this discussion, why not just add another category? And then you could even still say, like, what if you just said, instead of you have Game of the Year, you have best. Isn't there already a best new IP or something like that?
Let me check. I think the problem is that if you make a category that says best expansion and say expansions can only qualify this one category.
I'm saying you have 3 categories. You have best ongoing, you have best new release, and you have best expansion, and then all 3 of those can feed into Game of the Year. Because what if the
new IP as a category?
Because to me that would make sense. Because then it's like, okay, the best game of the year is the best gaming thing that came out in this year. Maybe that is Fortnite this year. I don't know. Maybe Fortnite is the best gaming thing you can spend money on this year. But then you still say, hey, the best expansion to an existing game was Erd Tree. Hey, the best new IP was, I don't know, fucking, or best new launch. What came out this year?
Astrobot. Well,
Sure.
that's not a new IP. They've technically had.
No, not even IP. I shouldn't have said new IP. Just new release.
Yeah. Best non-sequel.
Best original. No, you can't even say non-sequel because I would say then you would be discounting. Let's say there's one year, like there's years where Call of Duty fucking killed it. Like remember when like that if you go all the way back to way 360 era, like when Modern Warfare 2 came out, that game was fucking like that game could have been fucking game of the year probably, or Halo 2, Halo 3.
Modern Warfare 2 came out like a couple years ago.
Freeman, you also said that something got snubbed
joke.
here.
Yeah. All right. So I'll say one thing. Metaphor ReFantasio got nominated for a shit ton of categories, but Persona 3 Reload got nominated for none of them, and I'm shocked given that game had amazing art design, amazing soundtrack. It's not even in the RPG category. This shit should have. All right, I haven't played it, so I can't actually say it, but I'm pretty sure this is a better game than 7 Rebirth.
Bias ass motherfucker.
I'm pretty. I was saying it's better than 7 Rebirth.
Nah,
bias.
You're not gonna win the game. Freeman, you're not gonna win that argument. Even though Tyler would agree with you, you guys aren't gonna win that against enough people.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. I've played the original twice. I already know what I'm in for here. You can't surprise me with the
but here's also, I would say that I would definitely say that that's probably could easily be a case of them being like, look, we can't just give Atlas the whole fucking thing. We gotta spread it out. P3R is not gonna win. Metaphor is gonna win. Let's just give some other nominations. Atlas will be fine.
I know, but like hot take.
I could see that
about ReFantasio after the initial impact of like
the menu screen. ReFantasio's dick. I don't understand.
After the initial impact, it doesn't follow through with being super artsy. So I think 3 might actually have it beat on looking cooler. But whatever. ReFantasio's new hotness. We got to nominate it.
I mean, I don't even know if I'd say is it new hotness, because I've just heard I've heard like across the board like people raving about Metaphor.
Oh, I mean, it's very good. Okay. Solves almost all the problems with Persona.
Is there anything else we want to talk about with the Game Awards? Donkey put a hilarious video together on Twitter. I don't know if you guys saw that. He edited it together so that every nomination category said best soundtrack. I'll just send you the link. He basically spliced Animal Well into everything. It was really fucking funny.
I am going to say one thing that I was caught off guard by here was Pokemon TCG Pocket got nominated for Best Mobile App. This game has been out for like a fucking month. Everyone I know is playing it, but the fact that it's like...
There you go.
Well, I guess Refan has to do too.
Freeman,
like, the fact that recency bias is playing a massive role in the nominations.
Well, I mean... Have we ever, legitimately, in human history, has there ever been an award show where there wasn't at least one nomination in a category that was because of recency bias?
Yeah.
Has there ever been?
Yeah, but I feel like some of these games are too, especially games where it's like you can't compete. It's a live service game and it's been online for a month. I would argue, is there enough time for me to assess whether this is really that great?
See, I would say, why not? Because, frankly, in today's day and age, where people are really soaking, like, people who are, like, streamers and everything, like, you say it's only been out a month, there are people who probably have over 500 hours in this game already.
Yeah.
Like, when is the
break? Lifers.
I'm being serious. Like, there are those people out there, and, like, in the age of the internet, there are so many people for every single game who sink that amount of time into and know what they think already.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you, Freeman, but I think we're in an age where, and I wouldn't be surprised if recency bias is a thing, but I also think we're at the point where there are people who are just so dedicated to some of these things that, like, if Skyrim came out 2 weeks ago, people would expect it to be nominated for RPG of the year or something like that.
I mean, like, all I can think of is that, like, perception on a game can change in the year. Like, take, for example, if the Game Awards were held in, like, April or May, you'd be seeing a lot more of Helldivers 2 all over this list, as opposed to, I think it has, like, 4 nominations now. Like, opinions about this game have changed a lot over a year for a live service game.
Yeah, but
these kind of games, you have an opportunity to see the opportunities to fail. So to award a live service game that has not had time to prove whether it's going to get better or worse seems weird.
I mean, Freeman, but I would say that that's uncontrollable and you just can't win. Because if it had been in April, Metaphor wasn't out. Like, yeah, Helldivers might have done even better, but like but
I'm saying like the perception of a game changes, not necessarily compared to its competition.
I'm not disagreeing at all. I'm just saying there's no way to get around it.
Yeah. All right, we can move on.
Can we? You sure?
Oh, it's time to talk about a
Oh,
waifu
jeez.
or daughter.
Yeah, what the hell is this? What do you want? What is this?
So, in order to appeal to all the weebs around the world, oh, am I not? Do I have no soundboard for this week? Damn, I'm gonna have to use the built-in one. To appease the weebs, the Vatican decided we need a new marketable mascot that we can turn into a plushie. So they reveal this. She's not even anime, but she's just got these massive anime eyes. What's her name? It's not Lucy. Luce. Point is, she's a cute, marketable plushie who's got like anime-looking eyes. Who's wearing like a raincoat and rosary beads, and she just for a good week and a half, she broke Twitter. It was hilarious.
And that's already in the past, probably.
Yeah, we moved too fast now. No new memes being made about this. It's kind of old news, but it's still goofy that the Vatican was like, "Hey, how do we market ourselves?" And this is what they came up with.
So the actual Vatican, like from Italy.
The Vatican, yes.
What the fuck?
Like, I think this is a picture of one of the archbishops like revealing the like giant 2-foot figure of it from underneath this cloth. Like they had a whole press release showing off who this mascot is, and she's just a character.
Dude. She's just a character.
But it's just goofy this is happening.
I just can't like get over the fact. Like, what do you mean? The Vatican has like
a mascot that isn't Jesus.
An anime Is it an anime mascot? Like,
you know what?
Can you just imagine the Pope being in a meeting and going, "We need a waifu in Latin"?
I'll just send you the picture directly so you understand what we're talking about here.
Boy.
Jesus Christ, I need to see this.
Our listeners probably already
You gotta
know
be shitting me. What?
Yeah. Like I said, just a mascot.
What the? Okay.
What the fuck, Richard?
All right. I just don't. I guess that's how we reach the youth. I guess.
The youth. The Christian youth. The Christian youth who need their idol.
I saw one edit with her doing the "I have the power of God" and anime on my side pose.
Oh my god, that's amazing.
Look, got people talking about church for a while. Let's keep rolling. So I put this one on the list. So Nintendo's in an interesting spot. As we all know, the air quotes Switch successor is going to get announced, and I quote, any day now. But because of that, they don't want you not buying Switch products. They don't want you not paying for your NSO subscription. So they've come out. They've already said that Switch 2 will be backwards compatible with Switch. So please keep buying games this holiday season. But they've noticed a downward trend in people paying for Nintendo Switch Online, as there's not a lot of games people are playing that need it anymore, and a lot of the offerings from Nintendo have stagnated. For the most part, they have been increasing like their virtual console lineup. But at this point, like if I want to play N64 games, something's probably wrong with me. So Nintendo's needs to add more to the Nintendo Switch Online app. And one of the big things that every Nintendo fan knows is that they just make it impossible to listen to music from Nintendo games legally. For the longest time, the only way to listen to the Mario Galaxy soundtrack was to have pre-ordered it and gotten the one CD that had some of the tracks on it.
Oh my god.
So Nintendo was in this morally gray place where they couldn't actually copyright strike their music on YouTube because they hadn't actually made their music legally available anywhere on the internet. And I don't believe they had proof that they owned the music at that point. So this is why I think this is just a giant conspiracy. Nintendo now has a separate standalone app called the Nintendo Music app that you need to be a Switch subscriber to access. I, for some reason, forgot to cancel my Switch subscription last year, so I still have a little left on this year. So I'm like, you know what? Let's download. Let's see what we have. They launch with like the most limited offerings. They have some of the Wii music, like Wii Menu, Wii Sports. They have half of the Mario Galaxy soundtrack. They have nothing from Sunshine. It's like random games are already added, and they're like, we're going to keep adding more as we go week to week, and it's their slow rollout. My grand conspiracy is now that this is technically a paid product by Nintendo, you have to pay them to access their music. They're going to start going after any upload of Nintendo music anywhere on the internet because it's now a product they actually profit from. and I'm not happy about this. I was happy Nintendo's making their music available. I'm not happy at what this is probably going to end up meaning for the greater internet, because we all know how Nintendo operates.
Yeah.
Yeah, doom and gloom.
I mean, Nintendo has been hating on literally everybody on the internet. It's amazing that anybody puts out content of Nintendo stuff to this day.
It's becoming an interesting thing with like the retro handheld space, because I'm like knee deep in this at this point. And Nintendo already tried to shut down probably the biggest console reviewer for showing off footage of him emulating Nintendo games, even though he had the physical game he's emulating on, like the case with the cartridge on screen with him, showing, "Hey Nintendo, I own this. I didn't actually pirate this one. I copied my own BIOS of this game and I'm playing it." And they still copied striked him twice. So because of that, the whole YouTuber scene is going down this rabbit hole of we can't actually talk about Nintendo when we talk about emulating their stuff. And the phrase secret console is now the code name for Nintendo Switch, so that everyone can universally talk about Switch emulation without using it by name. And it's just so goofy.
Whoa.
I really hate it. It's like platforms saying you can't say the word suicide, so unalive is now like the official English word to refer
Gotta
to it.
say unalive.
Oh, God, all this censoring stuff that just is like, you know what it's saying.
Just let me say it.
Oh my
All right, let's stop shitting on Nintendo. Let's move to another console manufacturer.
God.
Well,
Back
we
to
love
the
shitting on
glory
Nintendo
days.
here, though.
Yeah, but I feel like they need to make legitimately bad decisions, and not just put up music apps for me to spend more than a few minutes ranting.
Yeah, I understand that. So instead of spending money, we could talk about how Halo Studios and their attempts of trying to get people back into the Halo ship. I just thought this is a dumb kind of thing, especially since I was watching The Wire, and weirdly enough, this got released around the same time I watched this episode of The Wire, but Halo Studios released for PC the E3 demo for Halo 2 for its I can't believe I'm saying this 20th anniversary. Ooh, that hurts. That fucking hurts.
Half-Life 2 had its 20th anniversary this week too. I don't like hearing about these anniversaries.
Yeah, it hurts. It physically hurts me. But you know, I think it was pretty interesting. I wanted to watch it or play it, and I never got a chance yet. So, but I might do it though.
That sounds fun.
I just uninstalled Halo. Like I just uninstalled the Master Chief Collection.
Of course.
So
I guess the question is how
it's gonna be a
different
little bit-
how different did the demo end up being from the final release product?
I'll be
Like,
real. I
if
honestly don't remember.
So say if it's super similar to what released, it's kind of lame.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be much. Like that's what I was thinking too. I didn't plan on spending that much time like on this topic. I just thought it was like funny. But we can move on. I just thought it was something pretty funny.
No, it's super cool that they would do this. I wish more companies were. I wish more often. I mean, it's always cool when we get leaks, especially of like canceled things, but also to see like how did a thing start out versus what did it end up being like at the end of the day is really cool.
Yeah. So to loop it back to Overwatch, during like one of the early days when they were still big, they had BlizzCon where they just showed up. Here are videos of all of the early alpha footage, and I always think that's crazy to see the progress on something.
Yeah. Like we talk about what like Veilguard or Anthem. I know we meme on those a lot. Veilguard recently, Anthem was a big meme, but like seeing where those things started from to where they ended up is just wild. Speaking of Xbox, though, what is Xbox doing that's good or bad?
So Xbox has been trending in this direction where they don't really want to be a console manufacturer, but they just want to be synonymous with the video games. And Game Pass is doing a lot of the heavy lifting there. So the idea that you would buy Game Pass and you would either use it on your PC, or if you want a dedicated home console experience, you would buy an Xbox.
WAM?
But what was that?
Dedicated WAM for the server.
Yes.
No, you never saw that. Never heard that joke.
No, I haven't.
Damn, that's
You have to give me
unfortunate.
some context. Sorry. Embarrassing on the podcast.
It's fine. No, it's fine. It's literally just a meme from like this Minecraft con like ages ago, and these kids came up to like ask questions of the devs, and it's like they went about as well as you'd expect.
Gotcha.
And one of them was dedicated wham for the server.
Dedicated wham.
How much dedicated wham do you need for the server?
Dedicated
Oh my
wham.
god. Anyway, so yeah,
Dedicated
if you
wham.
don't need a lot of dedicated wham in your computer, you can buy a Series S. But the whole gimmick is that Xbox, they're going the way of Sega. They're like, we don't really want to make consoles. We'd rather just sell you games. And part of this is they had one of their press releases that they are looking into releasing their own handheld. Because if you look at something like the Steam Deck, while it is entirely possible to use Game Pass on Steam Deck, it's not the upfront here log in, press button, you're in Game Pass experience. And if they could release a handheld that does that isn't just like the was the ROG Ally or the Legion Go or whatever all these others like Windows handhelds are.
Oh wow.
Like you could go down that route, but Xbox is like, nah, we want to make it as seamless as possible. As you turn this thing on and you're already at your Game Pass login screen. And I get that. It's just if you can sell ease of access, that's how they're going to go about doing it. So we'll see what their handheld looks like when they get around to it. But more likely than not, it's just going to be a Windows PC with a front end thing on it that just dumps you on Game Pass. Is it good or bad? Is the question.
I think they should just be like Sega. They should just retire like Sega and call it a day.
I've seen a lot of people pushing them to do effectively make Steam machines, like pre-configured SKU computers.
No, because you know why? All right, you know what? Maybe it would be fine for some people, but like I don't know. Like I like Windows machines, but I don't like the fact of like I could already tell that it would be like super duper locked down, and I don't want that.
Yeah.
Like the thing that I really like about my Steam Deck is the fact that like I can pretty much just do whatever the fuck I want with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like just because of its nature.
Yeah, you can be a heretic, install Epic Game Store on it. Like you can do whatever you want.
Yeah, like I can. It's not like you can't do anything with like Windows machines. Like I mean, like I do stuff with Windows machines all the time, but it's like that compared to like you have like you have a decent Linux build on the deck, and it's not too clunky. It gives you just enough to get you started, and like I feel like that's perfect for something like this. Like I don't want my stuff to be bogged down by whatever Microsoft gives us, right? Like for example, like I'll tell you for example, like I don't know what they would include, but I'm sure they can include a bunch of things. I'm sure you guys know. But like at my company, when we make Windows images, there's so much bloatware that we have to go through and make sure that it's not on the computer before we add it to like our image process. Like so that's just like for example that I wouldn't want, and I don't think a lot of people they don't want it whether they know it or not. They really don't want it.
I mean, I'll put it this way. I restarted my computer tonight. I log in, and Copilot is now pinned to my taskbar. I did not install this.
Yep.
I did not
Don't you like that
it's
new
just
update?
There. It's just there because Microsoft's like, yeah, you want this. More importantly,
yep,
we want you to want this.
Don't you love that? That it's just there now. You have no choice.
I mean, I'm not looking forward to next year because next year is the cutoff for Windows 10 support, and as far as I'm aware, the computer hooked to my TV does not support 11. And I don't actually know. I'm pretty sure my real desktop does support 11, but the idea is like, well, what the fuck do I do with my old computer? I literally can't update it because Microsoft won't let me. Like, do I just install like Ubuntu at this point?
Well, it depends. You'd have to see what is not compatible about it.
It's missing whatever that.
Which is another conversation
TCM.
for another time.
Yeah,
Like I could
now we're
literally
getting
tell
really
you.
IT deep in
Yeah.
the weeds.
Yeah, I'll
Whatever.
say I could tell you, and I don't like talking about work, so. But I could tell you.
I've already looked into it. Apparently, they're like, oh, you can use a BIOS setting to get around it. But like, this is not gonna lie, my motherboard's from like 2015. It's kind of old. It doesn't have the setting that we're looking for here.
It's pretty insane to me to think that we're in an age where we are now saying you cannot update to the newest version of the operating system. Like, this is very phone territory. Computers never felt like they really like this.
It's 100% Microsoft wanting to do a hardware-based
again,
security solution.
Sure, no, that's which I get, but I'm just saying, like, in the past, like, I don't remember ever thinking like, ooh, I'm going from XP to 7. Will my computer still be able to run 7? No, it's usually, well, that computer's so old, I want to get a new computer anyway. But I don't remember anything forcing me.
Yeah, it was always just a question of like, do I have enough RAM?
Yeah, but like the thing is, it's like security is playing a huge role in how like companies are doing things nowadays.
Sure.
Like
no, I'm not
it's almost like you
there's-
don't get that option.
And I'm not even saying that there aren't reasons for it, but it's fucking weird. Like, Freeman's PC, let me put it this way. In my mind, if a PC was built with RGB lighting in it, it should be able to run all versions of Windows forever because it should be powerful enough to handle an operating system.
See, that's the problem. I gutted all the RGB from the computer switched to my TV, and now that one can't update to 11.
Well, Freeman did it. Freeman did it.
Strict downgrade.
That's
anyway,
all
sorry.
I was getting at, is like, that blows my mind.
I don't want to derail some upgrading things, but I noticed this also with cell phones because Samsung made an announcement. So just for context, in keeping up with Google, Samsung announced that all phones going forward will have 7 years of support. But they finally figured out how to do updating Android without needing you to shut down. But it needs a new chip on board. So it means that the first year that they're announcing 7 years of support, this is the only phone that's not going to have this live updating without ever needing to restart, which is goofy. But frankly, I don't care. I've been restarting my phone for upgrades since phones have existed. So it's not like it's the end of the world, but we're starting to trend more towards this where it's just, hey, you need this new hyper-specific hardware. Don't have it, you're out of luck.
Fucking stupid. Fuck Microsoft. You know what? Fuck Japan, because we're about to do...
Well, no, I was going to ask what happened with Flight Simulator. It's listed on here. I don't think we talked about it.
Oh, right, we missed Flight. Oh, yeah, I did it as a sub-topic. Because speaking about how Microsoft products are fucking garbage, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 released today, and literally almost no one can play it because there's just not enough like bandwidth. And I was talking to people, and supposedly this was one of like their big marketing things to like market Azure and like, oh yeah, Microsoft Flight Simulator is hosted on Azure. It's its elasticity is gonna help it, help like with the load bearing and stuff like that. And no one can get on it.
Damn.
So yeah, if you ever thought about buying Azure, it's just kind of whatever. Not like our listeners are into that kind of garbage anyway.
Look, man, every day some of my companies, like, because the thing is, my team, we were the first cloud team, so we go to AWS, and then 90% of the org is like, nah, we're going to Azure instead. So we constantly get hounded about going to Azure, and I never want to think about it.
Understandable. What about you, Tim?
What about me? What?
Talking about the IT space.
Yeah, I'm thankfully only tangentially in an IT space, so I escaped most of this.
Lucky bastard.
All right, cool. Well, let's just escape to Japan then and start talking about the Weeb shit. Not a lot of fun stuff in here, but still goofy enough to talk about. First and foremost, we'll talk about the BlueLock drama. So I believe during the last episode we had started watching BlueLock. If we didn't, I'll just recap real quick. BlueLock season 2, the trailers came out, and fans noticed that not only was there no animation, what little animation there was fucking terrible. And I saw more TikToks about this trailer than anything else. With people hyping up, look how bad the animation for the next season is going to be. So season 2 starts. First episode, there is no action in it, so it's all just lighting. And I'm like, all right, cool. Internet, blew it out of proportion. This is going to be fine. Then episode 2 comes out with the first real game, and like they're like drag and dropping images on screen. No one's actually moving. It's all just slides and pans and occasional cuts to CG. And you'll have one dude standing perfectly still, but the one VFX guy is like, fuck it, I'm going to draw all this smoke in the world over this still image of a character to make it look like he's moving.
Yikes.
It looks really bad compared to season 1. And there was hope that like maybe there was some early production issues and they ironed out the issues, but it turns out no. One of the animators went on Twitter to explain what happened. And from the gist of it, it seems like when it comes to animation, you have a couple keyframe animators who do like the major frames, and then you outsource the in-betweening to other teams. And it seems like the in-betweening was just so bad that they didn't have any in-between animation that was an acceptable state to use. And the production committee wouldn't allow them to delay the show. And they said, just make it work. We're not paying extra. So this is what they got. They refused to pay for more time. They refused to pay for better animation. And now we're all suffering because there's no such thing as redoing a second season of an anime. We're stuck with Blue Lock looking like anus for the next 12 episodes total, which is really annoying because I'll put it this way. There are a couple sports anime that I think very highly of. It's Haikyuu and Kurko's basketball. Have always been like the front runners for me. Blue Lock season 1 was very good and made me to be the point where like maybe I like this more than Haikyuu. But their absolute inability to produce a season 2 just immediately dumpsters them beyond. They're not like Blue Lock is now definitively number 3 behind these two. And unless they turn it around and for season 3 be like, oh, we're sorry. Let's draw it the way it was supposed to look. Maybe I can look over this one match that's going to take up the rest of the season, but it's humiliating that they're okay with this. Like
We're sorry.
Like Like I'll put it this way, we're in the era where Shonen Jump's a lot of their big franchises are done for, so they've got to keep their currently good IPs going well. And like I straight up don't know shows that have a bad season and then turn it around. Like it's kind of a meme that Seven Deadly Sins is still ongoing after what happened with season 3, and it's still nowhere near as popular as it could be because no one gave a shit after they animated the shittiest season of a show I've ever seen. And I don't know why these production companies aren't like, hey, we don't want to spend money, but like if we release it in its current state, we're going to bomb an intellectual property that could otherwise print us more money. Maybe, just maybe we should invest in our intellectual property. And they consistently choose not to. And I'm hoping Blue Lock is I don't want it to be an example because I want Blue Lock to be good, but like I hope it's an example they learn from. Spoiler alert, they won't.
It's really sad because I remember sitting in this exact chair on Discord with you and Val Freeman and watching season 1 and being so hype the whole time. And now it's just like, man, this just all looks fucking terrible.
It kills me because like the main theme and Chigiri's running theme are in my running playlist at the gym. So I'll hear these songs, think like, damn, I was very excited a couple months ago for this. Anyway, let's move on to some more exciting and equally terrifying news. So, Sony's already trying to form the anime monopoly by buying up every company. And I think Reuters put out an article today saying that Sony has expressed interest in purchasing Kadokawa. And the way I heard this news was goofy because Kadokawa is a majority stakeholder in FromSoft. So most of the articles I saw today were that Sony's trying to buy Elden Ring is how this got framed. Like that is not what Sony's trying to do.
Nope.
Sony's trying to buy way more than Elden Ring. They're trying to buy arguably the largest unaffiliated anime and media producer in Japan. My first thought is, oh man, we're definitely going to get another season of Konosuba after this one. We'll see what happens. I'm not happy about the media consolidation, but if it means that someone can come into Kadokawa and tell them just like, hey man, please utilize your IPs correctly, which we all know is not going to happen. This is
correctly.
Yeah. Get them in Fortnite ASAP. We'll see. I'm not sure how this is going to work because it's purely Japanese companies. Like I don't know what monopoly laws are like there, but this is just a massive amount of media consolidation. So kind of scary. And then,
I'm not a fan of this at all.
Like the fact that they own Funimation.
Oh, we're Americans. We should be liking monopolies.
Yeah, we love that board game. There's so many special editions of it for a reason.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think you guys are looking at it in the wrong light.
I mean,
Just
if this
kidding,
means
it's
if this
really
means
bad.
that all
Monopolies
anime
are
can be
bad.
available on Crunchyroll, maybe.
No, because then it's just gonna get more expensive again.
Look,
It's
I
hard
kind
to see late game capitalism going to Japan, man. All right, it's a
look.
bad look.
It kind of is.
I'm tired.
Moving on the sports anime stuff. I was surprised this one. So Studio Mappa, who I probably don't need to tell you what shows they do because they do fucking everything. They had an anime 2 seasons ago called Oblivion Battery, which was about these baseball players. There are a lot of baseball anime. Not all of them are good. I'm still like halfway through the 200 episodes of Ace of Diamond. I'm probably never going to finish the show because I don't have time to actually hang on my friend who I watched it with. But Oblivion Battery is 12 episodes. It went completely unsimulcasted during its run, which seems odd for a show by Mappa. Crunchyroll later picked it up after it had finished airing. It seemed like popularity was super low, but it was enough that Mappa has greenlit a season 2. I will remind you, this is the same studio that still hasn't put out the Chainsaw Man sequels yet because they're just struggling to fill teams, and they're like, fuck it, Oblivion Battery season 2, let's go. So like, I don't know what's going on with their scheduling or what these project teams look like, but they're like greenlighting these underperforming sports anime as opposed to like working on the big name projects. Like, where's Vinland 3?
Don't say these things to me.
Yeah, so that's why I'm like, so that's why I was more shocked about this announcement. Like, why is Mappa doing this? And then moving on, this one is for the old school weebs. So if anyone remembers in 2006 when anime was first blowing up on pirate sites on the internet, the show The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya took the world by storm because it had this dance sequence in its ending song that everyone at every anime convention was doing. This transcends anime here. Point is, the Haruhi franchise, which has kind of been on ice for a while, they recently released a new book, and Kadokawa was playing with the idea of like, hey, maybe we should like respect this franchise and do stuff with it. So they got in contact with the team that did the original ending, the songwriters and the dance choreographers, and said, hey, we don't actually want to pay for it, but like, you have our authorization if you guys want to start a like crowdfunding project to just make a new music video or something. So they threw out all these like stretch goals for like what they were going to do. They're going to get like 3D models and whatnot. And they got like max funding on day one.
Wow.
Yeah. So everyone's excited for this. I wish I knew about it when it was happening. Thankfully, I don't have to like fund it. I just get to enjoy the benefits of it. But we're gonna get some new Haruhi dance project thing, which will be fun to see when it comes out.
Whatever
Definitely gonna be.
Fuck all of that means.
Look, it's gonna be stupid, but it'll probably be nostalgic. Like, I'm trying to remember which show it was. It wasn't 16-bit Sensation. There was something that aired recently where every episode, every ending theme from that show was a cover of another song, and randomly the Haruhi ending was one of the episode's endings. I forget which show it was recently that did this, but like, it's pure nostalgia, and I'm here for it.
Nice.
And anyway, that's it for the Weeb shit.
Wow.
Now it's time for the Weeb Shit Part 2, which is the everything we want. No, I'm kidding. There's not that much on here, but
It's like a little Weeb shit in here.
oh man, I'm so excited to finally talk about something with Tyler that we watched, Friedman. But let's start with I think we all watched episode 1 of Arcane, right?
I've seen episodes 2 and 3.
I still need to do that.
I wanted to watch more, but
I
had to come to the podcast.
want to watch more. I'm pretending to be Henry right now.
Yo, the animation, man, got me whacking it, dude.
The special effects are so good. Anytime someone fights, I'm like, good. The next one's gonna be amazing.
Good.
Yes,
Good,
more.
yes. I just need this quality of animation all the time, forever. Thank you. I know that's a long ask or a hard ask or whatever, but you gotta do it. Whoever's out there.
So you guys know how I always have some nitpicky bullshit I love to complain about.
Yeah.
I have almost nothing to complain about the show. My only issue is the show always does the rule of cool. If something's cool, they'll do it over something that's practical. And I believe there's at least 2, maybe a third shot where someone has a gun, and you'd think that if you want to make sure you shoot someone, you're gonna look at the person you're shooting and point the gun at them. But Arcane regularly decides, hey, I'm gonna intentionally look away from you, point my gun backwards with this awkward arm motion, and then shoot and not even look at what I'm shooting at. And they do it multiple times, and it bothers me because I'm like, this is the objectively worst way to shoot someone.
Oh my god.
How would you know? Have you ever shot some?
I struggle to shoot things I'm aiming at. You think I can do it behind the back? Looking away? You've seen how I shoot. We've been to a range before.
Oh god. That was funny.
But yeah, other than that, Arcane's really good. Ignore my nitpicking.
It's good.
Ignore my nitpicking.
Yeah, but there's another Netflix show that I don't think we can ignore my nitpicking for.
Wait, is the oh god. Oh yeah, we can talk about
Gundam!
this finally.
Yeah.
Damn.
So
This shows.
yeah, this show sucks.
So-
I
Holy
remember,
shit.
So let's run it
Yo.
back. Let's give context. That was sorry. I was turning that into an opening for you to talk about it because we watched it together for a minute.
Oh, I thought you were about to. Anyway, yeah, I'll give the context. So, Gundam Requiem for Vengeance is this 3D CG Gundam anime paid for by Netflix. And the trailer came out like maybe a
Pay
month
lot of
ago.
money.
I don't know what the fuck they paid for this or what PS3 development studio they got to do it.
Dude, what PS3 development?
But like I thought it might be cool from the original teaser images of the Zaku's in motion. So I was
Yep.
like, all right, let's watch the trailer. So I forced Tim and Val to watch the 5-minute. It wasn't even a trailer. It was the first 5 minutes of episode 1 that they released forever ago. And we sat down, we watched it, and of course, for some reason, they decided that of the 5 minutes of footage we're going to show, only the last 32 seconds are going to have any Gundams or not Gundams, mechas in them. So it was all about just soldiers on the ground and their tanks, and it's all in really, really shit CG that looks like it's straight up out of like a 2010 action game.
Nah, dude, it looked like a fucking. Yeah, you know what? I think we even did use that sound. Like, this looks like some PS3 shit. We even said,
It's bad. The character animations are bad. The dialogue is bad. The character movements bad.
It's literally like Freeman, I think when we watched this, because we watched, what, 2 episodes together?
We only watched one.
Was that one a whole episode?
Yeah.
Oh, no,
one.
no. Sorry. We watched the trailer, and then we decided to watch the one episode. My brain split them into 2 episodes.
Gotcha.
Tyler, what I told Freeman was I want to just watch a supercut of the mobile suits, and then literally don't even do a frame of a human character. Don't even show me anything.
Yeah, don't even cut to the cockpits.
The fight at the end of episode 1 was pretty cool.
Yeah, I'll give this some praise. So it's a reimagining the original Gundam, and I'll say this. So in original Gundam, you're always shown Amuro Ray and the Gundam's perspective. They're always the good guys. But they're known as the White Devil during this war because they show up on every battlefield. The Gundam is so much more technologically advanced than the enemy suits that it shows up, it kills everything, and it leaves. But the original Gundam's like a lighthearted kid show initially, so like you don't really get that feeling from it. When they show you the White Devil in this, it just fucking murders everyone.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking great.
The Gundam is terrifying, and they did a really good job at showing that. The problem is that this depiction is stuck in an otherwise terrible show.
Yep.
So.
We are not, to be clear, none of us are continuing this whatsoever.
No. I got too many other actual Gundam shows to watch before I watch this one.
Man, though, I just remember watching.
I thought it was hilarious. Like, who was it? Oh, so Michelle and I were watching it, right? And she's like, and I told her after you told me, but she was like, this doesn't seem like it was mocap for English.
That's right.
And then I was like, ooh,
Ooh,
I have bad news for you.
Dude, that was so funny. So, for context for those watching at home, so Freeman and I had a little bit of time. I think Henry was asleep and Val was... I don't even remember.
Val? I think Val had to go take a bath and didn't want to watch Bleach. So we were like, we got 20 minutes.
Yeah. We were like, what do we want to watch? And I was like, Freeman, let's be daring. Let's just watch one episode of this shitty-looking Gundam show. And we fucking called Tyler. I remember calling you on speakerphone and be like, Tyler, watch the episode. We're watching the episode. You have to watch it too.
I forgot. Because like I had watched it. I forgot what I was doing, but like
because we called you because I called you at the start and I'm like, we'll call you when we're done. We're 5 minutes in, and I called you back and you didn't pick up. And I was like, man, fuck this guy. This sucks.
I forget why, honestly. Why?
I bet I could go back into our chat to find it, because I definitely remember being like, you
called me
guys.
and I was like, I was doing something. I must have been like being lame. I mean, but what else is new, right?
Oh my god. I'm trying to take 2 seconds to fly through our chat to see if I can find where Tyler said something.
It may have just been too late at that point because we had already been playing. We had played D&D that night. We got off. We started watching the show. And we called you back like not even 10 minutes after.
Oh, that's right. You went home from D&D. That's what it was.
Or no, I think Tyler was remote.
Oh yeah, Tyler might have been remote.
I was the
something.
only one in
I don't
person.
fucking remember.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, I can't find it. Whatever. But yeah, so none of us are watching that Gundam show. But if there's ever a compilation on YouTube of the mobile suit action, as long as they never show a human model, other than the scenes where people die in the cockpit, I'm fine with that.
The people dying in the cockpit.
Yeah, I will say
the scene where the lady was in the cockpit and you're watching the White Devil beat the shit out of her Zaku and almost kill her. That's fine.
Yeah.
It was badass. I will say though, this is 100% going to plan. The show is anus, but the high grade kits they put out for this show look so cool.
So Freeman, what you're saying is the real money was there all the time.
Yeah, it was worth producing this god awful anime just to sell more plastic kits. That's really what this was.
Isn't that all of what Gundam is? To sell kits that make the real money?
Yeah,
More
but
bad
say,
kids
though,
buy our toys.
I gotta say though, like with the Freeman, having like put together some kits in the last year or two, and like watching you put together the real high grades, like there is a lot of engineering that goes into these fucking kits. Like,
yeah, like every time
the R&D for these is not cheap or easy.
Yeah, the only reason I'm so willing to throw down money for the new kits is every new kit has been a banger, which is why it's so humiliating that they came out with like the new Gundam Seed movies, and they're just reusing the old kits instead of re-engineering them. It's like, fuck you. You could have given us like real cool kits. Instead, you're selling us 20-year-old plastic at this point.
I wouldn't call that humiliating, but I did choke on my water when you said humiliating for buying the plastic kits.
Damn.
Look, man, I didn't watch Seed, so I didn't buy a single one of these new kits. I keep up with all the new ones, see like how crazy they're getting with it. Like the first kit I built was like the original ARC 78 high grade, and now they just did a real grade of it. And that one, unfortunately, I'm stuck waiting for the second print in like March for it. But like the detail that goes into these is wild.
All right, let's keep going. Tyler wants to stop in a half hour, so we got to move.
All right, we'll blitz. I finished the last episode of Doctor Stone New World Part 2 today.
Woo!
I was telling Tim about it on Sunday. I loved this season. I looked at my reviews for Doctor Stone. I gave season 1 a 9. Season 2 fell off hard because they had this whole war arc where just straight up no one got injured. No one got injured except for one person. No one died at all in a full-out war arc.
You gotta understand, like Doctor Stone is an after-school special.
No, I'm aware that they could have done the whole
war is the problem.
Yeah. Yeah, because immediately following, they got back to the whole, let's stop doing the man versus man, and let's do the man versus environment, science versus nature. Let's get back to that. And when they did that, it started getting good again. And then with about midway through New World, they introduced the concept of what I'll call soft death, where you have, in Dragon Ball, characters can die, and you can bring them back, but only if you win. It's a soft character death, where they're out of the picture now. You know, stakes are high because you know someone did something bad to them, and it really sets up who your villain is. And Doctor Stone didn't have a soft death concept, but in New World and Stone World Part 2, where people start getting re-petrified, and while you can reawaken them from petrification, it's difficult to do, and losing people means you might just straight up lose the conflict. They had a really good way of killing off characters, soft quote, without actually killing them, and they did a really good job of making the stakes feel heavy because of that. So I really enjoyed the conflict in the season.
Yep.
Very excited. I caught up just in time for the next season in like January.
That's a show I need to watch. There's so many things I need to watch.
Yeah, definitely recommend the last season of Doctor Stone.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, I reviewed it so long ago. I'll just say my thing was that I don't know if I liked the season as a whole, but the ending definitely, the last quote unquote battle is one of the highlights of the whole show for me.
It was really high.
That was really well done. Oh, hey, this is my show.
It was
you
me
watched
too.
it too, yeah.
We both finished one, but like I finished it like the day after our last podcast recording, so it's been so long. So I'm already trying to get this. But the show, Too Many Losing Heroines, which is not a harem.
Nope.
It's short version.
It's not.
Yeah.
It's absolutely not.
Yeah, it's short version is this character. He oversees this girl getting broken up with, and she's a losing heroine. He becomes her friend, but it's not really a romance. And they meet another girl who's also in a different kind of love triangle that does not involve our main character. but our main character becomes her friend and gets involved in this drama shit. So he's just the friend who's watching other characters go through these cool drama romance character arcs, while at the same time maybe having a single love interest who's the girl from the first arc.
Maybe.
So it was a refreshing take on a harem where he has a lot of female friends. There's really no kind of romantic interest at all between him and them.
Yeah, it's
but he's
really...
he's their friend helping them deal with their own heartbreaks.
Yeah.
And
it's
had really
fun.
good comedy.
And, the only thing I want to add to what Freeman just said is A1 Pictures is on a fucking roll. Last time I was on here, I was talking about how good Lycoris Recoil was. Now they're doing that gun version of Sword Art right now, which I haven't watched, but didn't Freeman...
Is it not
I gotta pick it up. Gun Gale Online too.
Didn't Tyler, did you watch that?
I watched the
Didn't
original.
you say it was
Gale.
good?
I thought it was all right, but I
was
definitely didn't
entertaining.
like.
Okay.
It was entertaining, but man, I didn't like the whole cousin thing. That was some Alabama shit. I wasn't for that.
Oh
Tyler,
no,
you don't understand.
That's main Sword Art. We're talking about just Gun Gale Online, which was
Yeah.
short girl with P-chan, the P90.
Oh yeah. Well, is that not the same thing?
It's a spin-off.
It's a spin-off.
Look,
Anyway, I only brought it up because A1 Pictures is doing that this season, which is the reason I'm not watching their show. But man, A1 has been kind of knocking it out of the fucking park with these releases. Like I said, Lycoris Recoil was excellent. Heroines, I ended up giving an 8. I really liked this. I don't want to repeat what Freeman said and take too long, but yeah, the humor was great. There is a hysterical, like, the show starts when Freeman says we see a breakup. Tyler, I'm gonna ruin the joke for you from the first episode because it's not the only joke, but it shows just how fucking funny this show was. Oh, also they're the studio doing Solo Leveling, which is known for being gorgeous. So yeah, they're doing A1's really fucking killing it. Literally, the main character is sitting in a booth at a restaurant and he sees a girl talking to the guy she's had a crush on since childhood. And he's telling her, "Hey, I just got together with this other girl." And she can't handle it. And he gets and she like yells at him and he gets up and leaves. And the main character watches as she leans over and takes a drink out of his straw from his cup.
Damn.
And then she turns and makes dead fucking eye contact with him while she's doing it.
Damn, that's fucking savage.
And she just spits the entire drink out across the room, and that's like the cartoony shit. But the amount of buildup they have to her being like, maybe it wouldn't be so bad, like, you know, it's and then it's like the indirect kiss, you know, it's not I just want to know what it's like once. And he's watching this and he's like, in the back of his head, he's just like, no, don't do it.
Damn, what the fuck?
I would say we
Jesus.
could turn it on for you and just show it to you for a few seconds after the
like
podcast.
just only the comedy bit, like, because
but
the comedic timing on the show was phenomenal.
Yeah, the all that to say, like, the animation is gorgeous. Like, the show is very pretty. A1 continues to look great. But the whole concept really was kind of refreshing. There's no hint of harem. There really isn't. I can't stress that enough. Because you see a picture with one guy in the background and 3 girls in the foreground. There really is negative hint of that.
There's so many jokes about him not being in the production or like the promotional material originally. I'm
sure, because the 3 girls, it's their story and what they're going through and how they deal with heartbreak. They are losing heroines. So yeah, this show is great. I don't think it'll ever get a sequel. They kind of go, ooh, maybe, but no, I don't think they ever could. And I don't think they need to. I think, unlike Lycoris Recoil, the show was more than good enough on its own. And like I said, I gave it an 8, which Freeman calls a Friedman 9.
But I think I don't know if I gave it a 7 or 8 because
you didn't score it as high
because it didn't have like a full complete story, so I didn't love it as much. But it was still a good show.
It's one of those moments. It's one of those ones where it's not about an overarching plot. There's really not a quote plot. There's a lot of stories that happen.
Just connected story arcs.
Kind of the same thing with why I like Violet so much more. where Violet doesn't really have much of an overarching thing. But anyway, what's next?
I'll be real quick with this one.
Oh,
Sound
God.
Euphonium final season. Val and I dragged our feet on watching this because it was really fucking bad. So Sound
Oh.
Euphonium, the first 2 seasons take place over their first year in high school and deals with all like the music competitions. Then they did a movie series to rapidly rush us through their second year. And spoiler, they lose pretty early on in the season, which is why they're able to do it in like I think it was 2.5 movies. And then we get to season 3, which is now their third year. The freshmen from the first 2 seasons are now the senpais, and they got to run the show. And instead of being about music like the first 2 seasons in movie was, this was just all about nonsense drama and retreading the exact same story beats we just saw in the 2 movies that you had to watch before watching the season. So, like, the character drama was bad, the plot was uninteresting, and we barely heard any music. So it failed like in all 3 things that this show was previously good at doing. And the only saving grace was that the last 3 episodes sped run and time skip to get us to the final song they would perform as a group so that we could definitively see the epilogue and know that no, there's no 4th season. Because Val and I were like, if there's a 4th season, we may not actually want to watch this.
Damn.
This was painful because it was a KOTOR
That was
animation.
bad.
So I was very upset with how it played out. I wish it didn't. It could have been so much better, but they're based off source material, and the source material was repetitive. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Was
That's
that
all I got
last
to say
season
about
or the
that.
season before? I don't even remember.
That was the season before. We just slow rolled the shit out of the show.
No, I couldn't remember because I'm going back on Mal because I want to see how many fall 24, so it would have been spring 24. I'm just curious what it was scoring on Mal because I thought I remember looking and it was reasonably high.
It was April 7th, so it was spring season this year.
I'm not seeing it unless I'm just missing it. Oh, well. Oh, there it is. It was way down. Jeez.
I mean, keep in mind, it's the 3rd season after a massive number of years between releases, and you had to watch movies between the seasons, so there was a great filter keeping people from watching this.
Freeman, it is the 53rd highest ranked anime on my anime list with an 8.7.
Fuck me. It's because people who only people who loved the franchise watched it. I gave it a 6.
Well, I'm just telling you, you're not wrong. Most of the reviews are 10s. It's a lot of 10s. So
yeah, whatever. People have bad taste.
Damn! Wow!
Damn.
Let's talk about some good taste shows. So Netflix seems to be on this pattern where they license maybe 2 or 3 shows at the start of the season. It's always the ones where it's like, dang, this is going to be beautiful. So they got this show called Blue Box that me, Tim, and Val are watching. It's a sports anime that's sort of a romance, but it's multiple sports. It's badminton and it's basketball and it's gymnastics. It's a bunch of different characters who all do sports and are all sort of caught up in each other's lives. I'm very much enjoying this show.
Yeah, I wasn't even going to bring it up because I always save my shows for when they're done. But yeah, I'm enjoying it a lot too. I'm happy to be watching it.
It definitely has the right, like, it's not nowhere near, it's not similar to Haikyuu at all, but it has the same vibe of season 1 of Haikyuu.
Yeah, of the character who kind of sucks, trying really hard.
But also just like the atmosphere of the school gymnasium. We'll leave it at that.
Yes.
And get out of the way quickly so I can talk about the absolute state of Bleach. So,
Oh,
Bleach is back and it's dumber than ever.
That's not what I
season,
expected, but I expected it.
Every season, I'm reminded that this was the storyline that got Bleach canceled, because it's been like the world has started like tearing apart twice in the last 5 episodes, and the number of bullshit hoops we're jumping through to justify why the thing that ended the world didn't end the world, but there's a second one coming in 5 minutes, and it's like, hey man, like if we all knew the world was ending, why the fuck did you do research into what would end the world after the world ended? And it's just like, there's so much ass pulling. like Tyler, are you ever gonna watch this?
Probably not.
Yo, he should watch that metal as fuck scene though, Freeman. That episode was crazy.
Yeah, not gonna lie. So like, even despite the story being absolute bullshit, they're going balls to the wall, animating everything. Like everything is so visually impressive that I don't mind that the story makes 0 fucking sense.
Tyler, there was one brutal fucking scene.
Might as well just watch that scene and call it a day.
Yeah, that's why I'm not describing it so that you are able to see it and just be like, "Oh shit, I'm never gonna watch Bleach ever again." But that was hot.
I don't know. So my minor nitpick for Bleach is that I really just fucking wish the director would tell the whole cast, like, hey man, here's how you pronounce Yawah's name, so you don't all have to make up your own fucking pronunciation of Yuhawaha's name. Everyone pronounces it differently. It's so stupid. All right, that's it. I'm done with my anime. Now I can talk about some live action stuff. So last week I finished watching season 1 of Silo on Apple TV.
Oh hell yeah!
And then it was just in
I gotta run for
and it was just in time for the season 2 premiere because I think it comes out on like Fridays or something. So I watched the season 2 episode 1. I watched it last night. And I'm kind of glad that I didn't watch season 1 well in advance. I didn't have to sit on a cliffhanger going into season 2 because season 2 already feels like it's going to be very different from the previous one. But overall, I really like this show.
Nice.
I'm all in on the mystery.
Glad.
Did you watch it like when it came out, or did you watch it more recently?
Did I watch it when it came? No. I watched it like not when it came out, but like a few, like not that long after. It was like a month or two after it aired, and it became like one of Michelle's like favorite shows, though. I really like it though.
I know my manager. I originally asked her because she watches everything on Apple TV, and she was like, "Yeah, the premise started off strong, and then it fell off." And I didn't agree with that assessment at all. Like I remember, I think the episode where they're like repairing the engine, not the engine, the generator. And the whole episode is basically this giant high stress action sequence. Everyone online was like, "Oh, this is kind of whatever episode. Nothing happens." And I'm just like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Like that was a great episode in terms of like building up tension, because that's what this show did. It was just very good at managing tension.
Yes, I think the tension building was excellent. I think this it's not my favorite show that I've watched in recent years, honestly. But like that's not me saying I hated it. Like I really liked it. Like I think story structure, and pacing, it's probably some of the best show writing and show just whatever how it was put together, in my opinion. It's really good. I mean, so I agree with you. I think it's just great.
I don't think there was an episode where I was like, damn, that one was boring. The episodes were all very consistent one to the next. So I'll give it that. It means they ran the show correctly.
Yeah. So I will say I think season 2 episode 1 was a bit slow to me.
It definitely was, but I'm expecting, because they have to do without spoiling for the viewer or listeners, they have to shift what's going to happen between these seasons. So there's going to be a little bit of a wind up. I know there was a scene at the very end of season 2, episode 1, where it's like, hey, here's the hook for the rest of the season. And hopefully episode 2, which comes out a couple days from now, is going to really cement where season 2 is going to go. So I'm excited.
I'm excited.
Oh, and then I didn't put it on here, but Shrinking season 2 also started on Apple TV. I'm a huge fan of season 1. Season 2 is just as funny as it was before. Harrison Ford is absolutely killing the show. Whoa, so I also recommend that to everyone.
Now that's a name.
Yeah, I've heard it in a long time. All right, then I'll move on. And then the next live action show I started was I forgot to sorry, there's a more important one I need to talk about on here.
Oh.
So I finished watching season 1 of Nobody Wants This on Netflix, which is the how do I put it? Woman who's on a podcast about sexual relationships ends up starting to date a rabbi and has to get involved in his Jewish lifestyle. Yeah, and it was a fun romantic comedy that was doubly special for me because I'm Jewish and got all the inside jokes. Overall, I enjoyed it. It's a cute romantic comedy. It's not really phenomenal, but if you need something up that alley, it was pretty good. If you're Jewish, you're gonna find this show hilarious. Very much pandering. But anyway, because we finished that, the two friends who I watched with, they were fed up that I just refused to watch any Marvel TV shows, and they really want me to watch, was it Agatha All Along?
Oh yeah.
And they're like, but your only prerequisite is watching WandaVision, and I've wanted to watch WandaVision, so I'm like, all right, fuck it, let's do it. So we jumped into WandaVision. I saw episodes 1 and 2 back to back, and I was a huge fan of just the homage to older sitcoms. I feel like maybe younger audiences who'd never watched stuff like I Love Lucy or I Dream of Jeannie
are lost, right?
Yeah, we're just like, what the fuck is going on here? Very much appreciate it. We watched 2 more episodes last night, so I got through the reveal of what's going on outside, and then I got to the episode where it flashed over to the 80s, and it just feels like I'm watching Full House. Overall, very much enjoy it. My nitpick of this show is there's a scene where Wanda and Vision are both flying and while facing each other, and I realize, damn, there really is no way to show people flying without it looking weird in live action. It's just impossible. But I'm very invested. I'm enjoying this a lot. Even the Marvel humor for the people for Sword on the outside is actually pretty good, and I'm laughing along, so I'm appreciating it. All right, do we have Tim back to talk about the next one, or is he still gone?
Yeah, no, I'm still here. I chimed in, but I guess you guys didn't hear me for a sec. Yeah, I'm here.
All right. So how was your movie experience?
Man, this is the most Overlord thing in the world. I watched Overlord Sacred Kingdom in a theater completely by myself at 11 o'clock at night on a Friday night, and it was fucking great.
Was it the Friday of the premiere, or was it the Friday after?
No, it was the Friday of. It was November 8th it came out, and I watched it on November 8th.
Damn.
There's not much to say. I mean, this is the most Overlord thing that has ever existed. Like, it is literally the pure distillation. Like, Ainz is here. Most of the supporting cast flits in and out because it's kind of like the Lizard arc, Freeman. Ainz has no clue what the fuck is going on, but he's just kind of riding along for the ride and getting all the credit.
Was this like canon story, or was it?
Completely
Okay,
canon.
good.
So, in the middle of the last season, halfway through the season, there is literally an episode that starts and says, "We have done a time jump. The movie Sacred Kingdom will take place inside of this time jump." And then it finishes season 3 or 4. Whatever one it was. So now we have that movie. So I don't want to spoil it a ton, but honestly, it really is fun because it is such a like down to earthy story. And by down to earth, I mean it's this other nation gets attacked and my boy Demiurge opens the movie obliterating a town.
Oh boy.
And the nation that he attacks turns to Ainz to help them, and Ainz goes, "I'm going to solo this." And he leaves with them. So he's completely disconnected from all of his people. And there are moments where he has to catch himself. There's moments where he says something and then he realizes they go, "What do you mean?" And he goes, "Oh, fuck, I shouldn't have said that. Whoops, never mind. I meant this thing, totally." So it's pretty hilariously all over the place. But it was just a ton of fun. I had a blast. The comedy is there. The animation is the only thing that's disappointing, not because the show looks bad. They're not going to the CG skeletons of previous seasons. There's just very little on-screen action in this movie. Everything is very short cuts because either the humans are losing or Ainz one-shots everything. Like, that's where most of the animation is. I will say, there is one of the most brutal fucking things. Talking about brutal moments in anime, there is a brutal moment in this movie. Should I say what it is or no?
Go for it. It took me 8 years to rewatch season 1 of Overlord. It's gonna take me a while to get to this movie.
So the movie starts, Demiurge attacks this holy kingdom, right? He attacks their border town, and then literally it just cuts to, okay, he nuked the town with meteor, literally Final Fantasy meteor. He nukes the town and then attacks the capital, and he ambushes the princess who's like the queen, somehow runs the thing even though she's a princess. And he gets thrown into a wall, and then this Balrog looking guy walks out, and it's supposed to be Demiurge. You only find out at the end of the movie, spoiler, it wasn't Demiurge, it's just a super strong summon of his. Walks out of the fire, and they're like, "Okay, retreat. We'll cover this one lady's like, "Okay, I'm going to recover your retreat, princess. Run away." And Demiurge just teleports into where the princess is running and then grabs the princess and starts using her as a cudgel to beat the shit out of her own people. And like, you see her body turning to mush in his hand.
Whoa.
Like, they cut to her face with like her jaw flying off as he smashes someone. It's fucking brutal. But it really kicks it up even harder because 2/3 the way through the movie, Demiurge, quote unquote, shows back up again, and he's still holding her, and she's like a pulp at this point.
Damn.
And he like, and it's back at the same woman who he like did this in front of last time. He just throws this pile of mush in front of her, and she has like Friedman's scene in Overlord. There are scenes where characters have like a mental break and like freak the fuck out, like screaming, clawing their own eyes out. And she does that. She literally like can't process that this is the princess, this pile of mush. And it is.
I thought it was supposed to be like a comedy. What the hell's going on?
Overlord shifts genres a lot.
Overlord is just fantastic, whatever it chooses to do, Tyler. So fuck off. So
I don't believe that. I've heard very contradictory things when you guys talk about it.
I mean, Luigi saw this movie right before, since he's in Florida. He saw this movie about 5 hours before me and said it was a 10 out of 10. I would not say that, but I would say it's a 10 out of 10 Overlord movie. It still has some of the same problems as Overlord, where you're like, Ainz is literally too stupid to be this successful sometimes. There's also just a lot of moments where you're like, this seems so overly complicated and unnecessary. But it has that same also like low grade, like Overlord, like horror-y shit, where you're like, man, one moment Nazarick really seems like they could be kind of the good guys, and then there's like this really dark undercurrent, especially at the end of the movie. There's this really dark undercurrent to what they're doing. And it's this dichotomy that, like, for all the stuff that, you know, there's been so many things that have kind of followed Overlord over the years. Like, Freeman, I would say Eminence is probably a good example, like one of the best examples of something that kind of followed in Overlord's footsteps. Man, Eminence is never really a super dark movie, like, or show. Like, Eminence, like, Shadow Garden isn't really trying to, like, isn't inherently evil.
There also hasn't been, like, any real heavy plot lines yet.
No. And there's some, like, Overlord is really one of the only ones that, like, pushes it. And I think that's part of the success of Overlord. We were talking about Dragon Age at the beginning. Like, Overlord is still a dark fantasy a lot of the time.
Dank fantasy.
Like, I was rewatching clips, Friedman, of, I think I told you this before the movie, I was rewatching clips on YouTube. And they show scenes from the invasion of Nazarick where the adventurers go in. Boy, they fuck people up in that arc. Like, there are people that are, like, tortured in really fucked up ways in that arc where the adventurers try to break into Nazarick. Like, it is wild. And really, there's nothing that goes this hard that I know of. I think it's part of also why we all like Vinland so much. It just feels... It's not usually egregious. Sometimes it is. But, like, it's not going out of its way to be so fucking crazy egregious.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm always down for egregious. As long as it's got some taste to it, I guess.
I mean, you sounded pretty hype about that Balrog using a...
Man, that was pretty
princess
fucking gnarly.
It's pretty, and it's animated gnarly too, is the wild part. Anyway, if you like Overlord, if you haven't seen this movie, when it comes to Crunchyroll, you must watch this movie. It is canon, but also it's just excellent. I'm also so glad I could give them money because my God, I can't wait for a season 4. Like, we just need Overlord to keep going. Me and Luigi will power this with our energy. We'll donate our energy to the Spirit Bomb.
For real.
Yeah, no, I would happily go see more Overlord movies in theater. And seeing it alone was honestly a trip. I was laughing out loud in this like empty theater except for me. It was a fucking blast, so. I got 2 more things to race through. So, like I mentioned, I was traveling for work and I flew all the way to California. So I was on planes that had TVs and I was like, okay, well, I don't want to stare down at my tablet and destroy my neck the whole time. So I'll watch something on the Boeing TV.
I mean, you do know that, like, that they have support things to, like, put your tablet on.
They really
right?
don't, though. I mean,
What do
they
you
have
mean?
they have the fold-out table, but there's no like staring at eye level.
Yeah.
No, it's just the TV.
You're
They've started
What?
installing there's like a slight ledge because they realize people want to put their phone
Yeah,
somewhere.
none of the ones I
for
was on.
years.
None of the ones I was on were new enough. They had the TV, but they didn't have a ledge. Also, my tablet's like
bro.
fucking huge. It's like a laptop size. Anyway, either way, I also just don't have access to the same stuff. Like, if it's on my tablet, it's YouTube or Netflix. If I download it in advance, this is a whole bunch of stuff, including I finally watched Sonic 2 and the entire Knuckles TV show, which I would have had no access to if I had stuck with my tablet.
Rolling
Sonic
my
2
fucking
and
eyes
Knuckles?
over here.
Yeah, they had both.
I was making a joke like Sonic
Oh.
3 and Knuckles, but
Oh.
yeah, no, you're good.
Sonic 2 was fine. It was more of the same again. I said in my Letterboxd review, you know what you're getting. If you had fun with Sonic 1, you'll have fun with Sonic 2. It's just more goofiness. It's Sonic being a goofball, Knuckles being literally brain damaged, and then Tails just kind of being there as the background character as always, and Jim Carrey just hamming it up and having a great time.
I still think the human plot line of the wedding in the second movie was like the most forgettable thing, and they could have completely cut those two characters in the movie and it would have been fine.
I actually fast-forwarded through the vows scene where he calls him from the Avalanche Freeman because I was like, this is too cringy. I'm not watching this.
Okay, I'm glad you skipped it. It's the worst scene in the movie.
I literally fast-forwarded through that scene. I was like, this is not funny. I know exactly what this is. I'm just prepare to fast forward. Fast forward. Yeah, that whole like, and I will say, hiring the guy from Criminal Minds to play that character, who's like the eternal like African American cop man in everything, was funny. To see him as like the stereotypical dude bro cop was pretty good. But yeah, that whole plot line was whatever. But anything with Sonic and Knuckles and Robotnik is just fun. It's just sugary fun. And then the Knuckles TV show was like weird.
No, you don't say.
No, but like
The Knuckles TV show weird?
well, like it's funny to see. It's basically like, do you want to see Knuckles learn how to exist on Earth? Do you care? No, don't bother. And I was just curious. I was like, what do you make out of a TV show out of this? It's basically, how do we take the B characters of the human team and the Sonic team? We take Knuckles and we take the ditzy cop and we mush them together and make them friends and go on a really stupid road trip. It was a good time, though. I told Freeman he should watch it because there's an entire, what's it called again, Freeman? The Friday... Shabbat. There's an entire episode where Knuckles has Shabbat dinner. Shabbat, right?
Yes, Shabbat.
Shabbat dinner.
Free Shavakadu?
That was funny. Also, what's his name? There's a lot of side characters that are just goofy. There's an entire musical sequence, because of course there is. That was actually funny. What's his name? Robin Hood from Robin Hood Men in Tights. Wesley from Princess Bride. What's his name? What's the actor's name?
Oh, man.
Fuck. He's been in so many comedies. He plays one of the characters. I had no idea he was in the show. It was hilarious. It's nothing like, again, you kind of know what you're getting into, but I almost wanted to try it just to see what the Sonic team would do with a less locked in character like Knuckles versus Sonic, where you know exactly what you're getting. So it was fun. It was a fun time. Definitely doesn't need to be watched, even if you like the movies. But if you're curious, give it a try. It's only 6 episodes and they're 20 minutes each. I watched the entire thing in half of a flight across the country, so not a huge commitment. The other thing, so I watched Sonic 2 and some started a documentary series I don't want to talk about because I'm not done on the first flight. Knuckles and Inside Out 2 was my watch on the second flight.
Oh, I still haven't seen this one. What'd you think of it?
Another case of the review, funny enough, is almost the same. If you liked the first one, you'll like this one, but
Because it's the same motherfucking movie.
well, that's Tyler. Shut the fuck. No, I'm kidding.
What? I talked about this already.
No, you did, and I'm
Yeah.
agreeing. It's the same movie as before, but with less magic because it's less special. Still teared up a couple times. Still definitely felt feelings. especially since now I'm a dad versus when the first movie came out, I was not a dad. So watching this with a little kid definitely hits differently. But it really is just the same movie, almost beat for beat. It's still pretty. I just cared less because it just feels less experimental. Even in the moment, I wasn't like, this is the same movie, but afterward, I realized that like the beats are so similar. And you still know a lot of things that are coming almost more than the first movie. Like in the first movie, it's like, how do I deal with like big emotional changes? And you're like, wow, yeah, I could see how that's a big deal. And in this one, it's like, okay, well, we've seen teen drama stories so many times. We know exactly what Ripley is going to do in these situations. And it just feels less exciting because of it.
Yes.
That being said, it's still better than a lot of stuff. We were talking about the Game of the Year stuff. Like, it's still better than a lot of other movies. And if you have the time, like in my situation, it was a good thing to just watch when I had the chance. And I don't regret watching it. I would watch it again if someone I knew had seen the first one and wanted to watch the second one. But I'll never go out of my way to watch it again. It just feels less special compared to the first one, but still good.
I just want my anxiety to also have an armchair, dude.
Yeah, as soon as the end of the movie, I'm like, how is this not a massive meme that still exists on the internet?
Actually, I think that might be my review for the movie.
Is that a gif of that?
No, it's not a GIF. I don't know. Can you make GIFs on Letterboxd?
Oh, no.
On my
you're saying
Letterboxd.
the text of the review. Gotcha.
Yeah, the text of my review is legitimately like, I wish my anxiety had an armchair.
Tyler, speaking of Letterboxd, I just opened it. Are you seeing Gladiator 2 this week?
No.
Wow.
Leslie and I were like, because we both like Gladiator 1 so much, we both were like, yeah, this like, just watching this trailer just doesn't seem a lot for me. It's not doing anything for me. And what definitely didn't do it for me, I hate it when, like, I don't know, like when movies try to do some weird shit with like rap songs, but like they're dramatic. Like I don't understand. Like they
I know
did
what you're
like,
talking about.
yeah, they did Kanye West's forgot what song it is, but like in Gladiator 2 for Gladiator 2, and I'm like, I just have a lot of feelings towards it. Like I just don't care. I feel like the first one was so final. Like why are we caring about a movie what 20 like almost 20 something years later after it came out? Like I don't know. I just don't see the point. It's like one of those like break glass in case of, but like no one asked for this. No one wanted this. Yeah, I mean, if you
Anyway,
want,
I didn't mean to change our topic. I was just curious.
Oh no, that's fine. No, because I did like think about it. I'm just like, nah, fuck this. Are you gonna go see it?
No, I'm just curious.
I also have a wedding this weekend,
Yep.
so I'm not gonna be able to see shit. I did watch a lot of movies actually between then and now. I didn't put them on here because I didn't really give a shit too much, except for Terrifier 3. Terrifier 3 was amazing. Yeah, because I think that was around the end. Oh yeah, I guess I can mention Terrifier 3. I really like that movie. I actually rated it a 4.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't think it probably deserves a 4 necessarily, but I really liked it. I think it was a tight story as far as like slasher movies. It's definitely, in my opinion, of the upper echelon of slasher movies. I also watched because I watched the interview with the Vampire season 2, right? And I was like, man, I really love this show. This show is great. I just had to watch the movie, the Brad Pitt Tom Cruise movie.
Now.
Man, it was one of the movies of all time for sure.
Dang.
You know what though? Val did warn me going into it. I was telling her, I was like, I'm thinking of watching the movie. She's like, I'm just letting you know, like, this movie's dated as fuck.
Did Val saying that?
So, like, take that as you will. She was very honest. She was like, you know, like she went in, like telling me like, yeah, like of course I like this movie a lot. I have strong ties and emotional ties to this movie, but like that being said, I have to be like objective and like tell you like the movie probably isn't that good. Like you might not like it. And the age definitely shows in that movie. But the show pretty much like, which is interesting, it stretched out the entirety of that plot in 2 seasons. But it did it in a way where it was like fine. Like it's not like it wasn't warranted or anything like that, if that makes any sense. Um, that's all I really wanted to talk about. I watched The Substance. It was okay. I rewatched Blood Diamond. It was okay. I watched this other movie, 2 more movies because it was the end of Spoopy season. We need to talk about Kevin, which
Oh, isn't that one's weird, isn't it?
it's it's not as weird as Suspiria that I watched after that. But it's basically about like it's weird. It's the first serious movie I've ever seen John C. Reilly in. It's basically about these parents, and they raise a really fucked up kid. But it's actually it could even be argued that it is their fault. But like this kid has like serious behavioral issues, like and a bunch of other stuff. And he goes and does like a very heinous thing. You could probably guess what it is. A lot of the jokes for the movie though, I would like to say because the fucked up kid is Ezra Miller. So like all the reviews are about like, oh, it's just what's her face? It's just Tilda Swinton raising Ezra Miller, and she can't help his tendencies. I was like, damn, bro, it's fucked up. And then I watched Suspiria, which I don't remember why I watched it, but I watched it. Or I watched it. It was okay. I did think it was really good. It got into some like weird, like eldritch, like shit. I don't know. It was cool though. I kind of liked it. It is that's a weird movie. And then I can get into the games that I played. I started Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Guess what? It's a Call of Duty game.
Is it a good Call of Duty game?
Oh
Absolutely fucking not.
God.
This game is shit. Why do I play it? Because my friends are playing it, and I want to play games with my friends. And instead of playing good games, like Left 4 Dead 2 or some bullshit, we're playing this. So, I don't know. I mean, I could try to get him to play something else, but I'm like, whatever. I'll just rot my brain playing this and just hang with you guys or whatever. But in the meantime, I've been playing also good games. I had to give Tim the early scoop because he's been like pestering
Watching
me
you
over
play it.
Yeah, pestering. I say it with affection. I say it with affection. Yeah, I'll say like I know exactly. I see your face on the other end, and I'm not even near you, but I know what face you're making.
No, you don't.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I beat KOTOR too. This game was good. Like I was very overcritical about it. Like I voiced a lot of this to Tim before, but the long short of it is basically I think the game, like Obsidian taking this game, they turned it into a game. But then somewhere in there they were like, we want to make this really profound story, and it didn't really hit for me. I think it had some good themes. But as far as like playing an RPG where I interact with characters, like I think the influence system was cool, but I feel like it wasn't as like, how do I explain it? Is it organic?
It's a system that you wish like was implemented today instead, so it would be done a little better.
Yeah, like, yes.
The idea is great,
Yes.
but the actual implementation is a little rough.
Yeah. Like, I wish, like, the game, like, the main scoop of KOTOR 2 was there, like, was the vessel, and I wish so this is me, like, all right, the dialogue of KOTOR 1, super dated, but I think the plot is really good, and I think the individual stories were
Let's put it this way,
good.
there is a plot in KOTOR 1.
Yeah, there is a plot, like, in KOTOR 1. In 2, I'm just like, because at the end, when you kill the one guy, I mean, I don't know. Should I just
Go for it.
I'm just gonna say
for it,
spoilers
please.
because this game is 20 years old.
I've talked
Whatever.
about the KOTOR games more than enough times on this podcast, Tyler. You're Gucci.
That's true. You kill, so one of the main bad guys is Nihilus, and you kill him, and I was like, is this supposed to be like something funny? Is this a joke? Like
Yeah.
Nihilus, he had no point. I mean, aside from what you said, Tim, where it's like, oh yeah,
Which
it's
is
just another
vague
thing
and,
for.
yeah.
Yeah, but like at the end of the day, there's no point to him, and I'm like, yeah, I think that's kind of funny, but that definitely wasn't the intent.
The game suffers from the from the development problems they had a lot. And you have to imagine that if you got this team back together and gave them 5 years and a huge budget, they would flesh out a lot of this shit. Like, Viscus shows up and says, "My life for yours." And then Nihilus is just kind of the looming threat until... And then the Jedi gather, and then that doesn't matter. Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's all, like, literally, it comes down to telling Tobin where the Jedi are. Well, actually, you did the weird Vaklu thing, so I don't even know how you did it.
Don't even get me. No, actually, we're gonna get started real quick.
Oh yeah,
right?
Tyler fucked up an entire planet by accident.
Oh,
I
no.
fucked up a whole planet. Like, you know what? I should have known when someone is saying support the princess and not the general.
Do it.
That should be the good thing in the Star Wars universe. To see me as an American,
Fuck the queen.
I see monarchy and a general's trying to take over. I'm like, Leo, it could be. And here's the thing that fucks me up, Tim. I think because that was the first place. But later on, it kind of double backs on itself, where it's like in the one situation on Dantooine, right, with the door guard, and it's like, yo, they're like, oh, like a lot of things are implying that the guy who's in station is kind of an asshole, and he is. But they're saying like, oh, like almost implying like, oh, the guy at the door is, a better pick, or might be the light side pick. In fact, a lot of the deeds, or the points in this game, like the whole lesson that this game is trying to tell you, the player, like, I love the themes.
Yep.
The theme of just because you did a good thing doesn't mean it's good for everybody else. Yeah, it's not the right thing. And I kind of got that gist from the beginning of the game. So I was like, okay, sure. But during this planet, right, where you have to either choose the general or the princess, there's a definitive, like, one is dark side, one is light side.
Yeah.
And I had no clue. I didn't have enough information. But when you do one thing over the other, and it commits you, and you can't go back. That's what I
mean, that this game suffers from the technical stuff, because so many things, and this is why when we talked about it, I was like, honestly, the best thing for this game is to have the best way you could have enjoyed this game is play it when I played it and keep playing it over the years. I know you meme about me playing it, but like it's one of those things where as an older person, it's a lot easier to see those holes, because I was so wrapped up in it as a kid. And I think, looking back, I agree with so many of your points, but I just was moment to moment, was like, wow, this is my video game. This is so crazy. I've never played stuff like this. But now, like, you've played Baldur's Gate, you've played KOTOR, you've played a lot of RPGs, and you see how, like, oh shit, if you miss one influence point, congratulations, that party member can never become a Jedi or progress their story past a certain point. Or, oops, I talked to one person, told them Vaklu didn't sound terrible. I guess I support General Vaklu for the entire playthrough now.
But not only that though, it led to my ending not wanting it to be who I wanted it to be, like, because I was RPing
because he was dead.
Because he died.
Kafar was dead. Oh my god.
Because I had no choice but to kill him at the end of that, and the game doesn't give you an option to be like, hey, spare the princess and spare the Jedi Master, so then I can have this ending but still support you, right? Like, dude, that's how it should probably be. But I didn't.
When I get to the end game in my newest playthrough, maybe I should just show you what Dantooine looks like when you have all three of them alive. It is different. There's a lot of dialogue and shit that happens there that's different.
And then it made that part more difficult because I had to fight both of them.
Yeah, Tyler, I think in maybe one playthrough in my entire life, I have fought Jedi there. Every single playthrough, when you have all three alive, you don't fight anybody.
Fucking hate it.
I will show you.
Well, actually, I only fought them, and it sucks because when you get there, they're like, "Oh, you killed them," and I'm just like, "What kind of option is this?"
Yep. Nope. Tyler, I'm telling you, you will be floored at how different it is. I'll show you when I get there. I will show you what Dantooine, what the rebuilt academy looks like, with all three Jedi alive.
That's cool.
And you're gonna be like, "Fuck this game."
I'm still like, fuck Kreia. Like, at the end, I was like, okay, she wants the Force, like, all gone. I was like, you know what? That's an interesting concept that they actually, I feel like, tried exploring in Acolyte, sort of. Where it's like, you know, like those themes of the Force is actually kind of fucked, and its presence
actually a lot.
Causes, way more destruction and chaos.
There are things that I think about from KOTOR 2 anytime I think about Star Wars. Like, Tyler, you probably don't remember this scene. On Telos, when you first get there and you're asleep and Atton and Kreia are talking about you while you're asleep. Do you remember this at all?
Yeah, I do. And she was talking mad shit.
And
I thought it was good later, because remember I pointed out, because I was like, yeah.
Like, hand a Jedi a blaster and watch them be able to do nothing without the Force.
Yeah, I was like, damn.
And that's when I'm like, Kreia, challenge accepted. I'm Jedi Gunman. Like, this is my
Jedi Gunman. I do think it's a little weird because, like, that line. I mean, I think it was interesting, but I don't think it made a lot of sense considering what we've seen.
No, and I think the idea is just Kreia is so. I think it's also easy to forget, like, because Kreia is there to ask weird, uncomfortable questions. But it's also easy to forget that, like, Kreia has so much of her own bias that she's bringing to the table that, like, you can't, like, it's so easy to get wrapped in, ooh, she's asking these questions about, like, oh, you hand it, like, I know you're thinking of that scene on Nar Shaddaa. Hey, can I have some money? I'm a poor beggar. Sure, here you go, buddy.
Oh my god, that fucking
Why did you
scene.
do such a thing? I still remember how she says that line. Why did you do such a thing?
Why'd you do like...
You have only caused more pain by giving more money. It's like, shut the fuck up, Kreia. Like, that's... And the fact that you can clap back at her and be like, no, I refuse to accept that you're right. Like, never.
Yeah.
But it also is such a contrast to her character, and it's a great way to be like, no, the light side Jedi is so different from Kreia. It's great. And then on top of that, but it, like I said, I think Kreia is just such an interesting character, and the game asks so many interesting Star Wars questions, which I like a lot. I
enjoyed that a lot. I think the themes were spot on, and it asks good stuff.
I think there is, like, a god game hidden between, like, the plot of KOTOR 1 and in almost a sense the simplicity of KOTOR 1, where it's just level up, get dialogue, versus the influence thing.
But that's what I was saying. I was like, somewhere in between both of these games literally lies the perfect game to me.
Because you take, like you said, and I don't want to just glaze it over because it's easy to talk about the plot forever and we should stop soon, but it's hard to overstate how much playing KOTOR 2 feels better because there's the swapping, the workbench stuff is cool to customize your guns and like actually personalize your equipment. There's so much more gear and equipment. The companions are like interesting, but like both groups have like stinkers.
Yeah.
And then just like even the simple gameplay of being able to swap on the fly like between two sets of weapons. There's a lot more interesting. I think this isn't something we talked about, Tyler, but I like how in KOTOR 2 there's a lot of like, if your intelligence is really high, sometimes you'll get extra dialogue. If your security is really high, sometimes you'll get extra dialogue.
Yes, I liked that a lot
Anytime
too.
you do that shit, I fucking love it. And honestly, I will say, I know, you know how a lot of video games these days in like an RPG, it's like, ooh, here's the grayed out option. You're not able to pick this option, like Mass Effect. I actually unironically love that you have no idea those options exist if you don't have that skill. There's no sense of like, oh, fuck, I'm screwing up the game. It's like, no, you just didn't know, and it still progresses.
Yeah, it's a little bit of extra stuff that they add later on into other games. Like, it's cool.
Yeah.
Like, in other games, like, as in, like, other RPGs, I mean. But yeah, overall, I think it was still good. I just like the plot in KOTOR 1 better.
Yeah,
I think that's really it.
I mean, there's still shit in KOTOR that is just like iconic, and having, like I said, as much as it is kind of the go find the MacGuffin plot, like,
yes,
it's a plot. Like, this game is kind of like, well, I'll go to a planet where a Jedi Master might be, and I'll just fuck around until a Master is involved. Jedi, like,
yeah.
what?
That's literally, I was like,
how do you find Zez Kyle? Well, I'm dealing with the exchange, and he just kind of showed up out of nowhere, like...
Yeah, something, the Force brought me to him or
he
something.
He hired Amira, actually? Like, what?
Yeah, I don't,
How'd you find Vrook? Well, mercenaries are here, and I don't like them, so...
a lot of middle, alright, we're there, like...
How'd you find Kavar? Well, I got shot down on a totally different planet, and then I had to take a shuttle with Mandalore, aka Candor. Like,
But then how it ends is like, all right, I'm just gonna fuck off into the stars now. Like, okay.
Tyler, you fuck off into the stars and do the KOTOR, the books, and then lead to the Old Republic.
Oh, is that what it is? Ah, I see. Middle.
Anyway, Tyler.
Oh yeah, I have
KOTOR 2.
Surprise. Yeah, that's
thing.
Bonus round. I forgot because I was looking for other games. I was like, what do I play in between my new RPGs? And I totally forgot. I forgot that I was playing Alan Wake 2, the newest DLC to come out. The Lake House, and I beat that. Yeah.
What'd you think of it?
It was fun. I thought it was fun, but I feel like it wasn't enough, like, for what it was. Like,
wow.
Like, it was cool. Like, I thought the idea was interesting. Like, the whole concept of the entire DLC is that the Federal Bureau of Control, after the whole Alan Wake incident, they set up an entire research facility just to study the ground zero of what happened with the whole Alan Wake incident.
I mean, that makes sense. It's pretty fucking major. You played the Control DLC about Alan Wake, right?
Yeah, I played all of, like,
Control.
I literally played everything.
Yeah.
Actually, now I feel almost, I think I've even said this on the podcast, I feel more compelled to play Quantum Break now, because that's in the same universe. Yeah.
The TV show game.
Yeah, the TV show game. But I mean, because they got the same guy to come back and reprise that. Not the same character, but basically the same guy.
It's like Max Payne. We legally can't talk about it, so here's Oh no, Max! Here's Bax Bane showing up front.
Yeah. Literally. And it's funny too because it's like, it sucks that that voice actor died though.
I know, that's very sad.
Yeah. Actually, also fun though. They're remaking, like that's 100%.
Yeah, that's their next
confirmed.
project is Max
Yeah.
Payne 1 and 2 remake, and
I'm
then
like-
Control 2 eventually.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited for that actually.
Yeah, I would definitely. Max Payne is a game I never played as a kid, but I would definitely play Remedy remaking Max Payne again in modern times. Is it a remake or a remaster? Do you know?
It's a remake.
Ooh, so it might be really different.
Yeah, I mean, dude, you wouldn't want a remaster.
No, but you know what I mean. Like
Yeah.
we've had the eternal discussion of KOTOR remaster,
yeah.
remake. Actually, finish what you're saying, Tyler. I have one question to end the podcast on.
Oh no, that was it.
Remake
Yeah.
or remaster KOTOR 2?
Remaster.
Nice. I'll take it.
Yeah, I would be fine with a remaster,
Okay.
honestly.
I'll take that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because KOTOR 1
I don't
was
think
the same thing, right?
Yeah, it was the same. No, so for KOTOR 1, I do just want a remaster, except I guess this kind of goes into like remake territory. I want them to improve the dialogue so it's not as like cringy.
Nah, that's remaster.
Yeah, then KOTOR 1 is probably remastered territory for me, honestly.
Okay. That's no. Both of them
Yeah.
are. I trust me. If I could have it, like I've said, if I had infinite dollars, both of them would be in the line for something. But it's just a question
Yeah.
of what.
Yeah, I think both of them are good. They just need like some tweaks.
You need to blend a bit of, you need to, what is it? Do like a Blood Brothers thing where you share a little bit of DNA from both of them, where you take a little bit of the improve. We talked about this every time KOTOR's come up in the last 6 months. You take a little bit of what KOTOR 2's gameplay tweaks are, and you take a little bit of the stability and like overarching design of KOTOR 1 and kind of mash them into each other, and both games are made even better.
Yeah. Sorry for the Star Wars talk, Freeman.
All good. Just went on a little long.
No way.
Yeah,
We've
I
never
didn't
done
mean-
that.
I can tell you guys both love this game, so I didn't want to interrupt it.
But also, we're done with KOTOR now. Like, Tyler has now played both KOTOR games. There's no more KOTOR conversations to really have anymore.
I didn't want to.
Unfortunately, we're still not getting that remake.
Yeah, right.
Until next time, everybody. My name is Timpedia.
This is Friedman.
Just only Tyler.
And we'll catch you guys next time if it ever comes out. See you guys next time.